Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to Toon Talk.
Welcome
Whoa, that
back to
is loud
Toon
as
Talk.
fuck.
Oh, yeah, I'm loud as fuck. I'm just doing
Are
you
you
with
just
an accent.
repeating? But I can do me with an accent. I don't know what accent that was. It was a bad
Why,
one.
when
But
you do an accent, you always go to Donald Trump? I don't know why you have that
listen, I
mental thing.
didn't do the Donald. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
I know.
But
How are you, everyone? How's everyone? How are you, Jake? Welcome
uh,
to another edition of the Sneakers sponsor, a Toon Talk sponsored by Sneakers.
specifically Snickers ice cream because I went to my grocery store. They didn't have Kit Kat ice cream. I was distraught. So
Yeah,
I went with an Old Faithful.
I just had an ice cream in front of the pier. I wanted to take a walk in the pier and I just ate an ice cream that I must confess, besides that one cone was like $8. I mean summer, right? It's not even summer, it's spring and they're charging like it's summer. Um the first flavor, well actually the second, because the first one was chocolate dough. But the vanilla one was really good.
Vanilla sucks, bro. Chocolate is where
Well,
it's at.
yeah, that's why you date Latinas and I date white women because I like vanilla and you like chocolate. But talking about that, we have a special show today. This show is dedicated to everyone that's have a broken heart, miss somebody, or is eating incontrollable ice creams because we don't want to be depressed. So for a stupid reason, in the next 2 months, Jake is gonna be stupidly buff. So as me because we're working out because we're and
I
the only
actually
way to
did.
inject it, I know I saw your posts. So people follow Jake on social media, and the only way to get endorphins right now is eating chocolate or doing exercise because I really don't want anything else.
Yeah,
And I'm expecting
I threw tragedy in there too, just because like
because you know what you're doing with your podcast. I'm gonna use that word that you just used because it's really nice. I'm so distraught that I'm not even dating my right hand anymore. I'm not.
so you're super alone.
Oh yeah. Remember the song Kamikaze by Again and Forever? That guy is cheerful and happy. So, because of reasons that we're not gonna say, but they're implied, today we have a special show about how movies and entertainment in general, right, create influence in our feelings and date and life. So if you're looking at us on YouTube and you see us just eating and eating, well, you can eat with us. If you hear that Jake is not talking that much, it's because he's eating Snickers ice cream, is sponsored by Snickers.
If only. Nah, just the
If
one.
only, yeah, yeah. You know what? I've been eating ice cream. I mean, not regularly, but
Ice
what I
cream's
did is
good though, man.
I went to our other sponsor, Trader Joe's. So I got dark chocolate covered raisins,
Oh man,
and
I'm halfway there with you. Dark chocolate covered pretzels are my jam.
you know what? I never tried them for a reason. I think that that's fucking crazy.
No, it's
Pretzel
not
salty
crazy, man.
chocolate. What is next? You dating Latinas?
See,
Troop-a-doop-ps-ps.
no man,
Troop-a-doop.
there is something about the salt and the because again, I'm not a huge fan of milk chocolate covered pretzels. Like they're all right. The dark chocolate, I dig it. I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, I didn't realize I was gonna do the two for real in my keyboard in front of me, but then I realized that I wasn't plugged. I was doing an unplugged show. I missed the unplugged. Remember the unplugged from MTV
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
2000s?
I was like, that sounds super familiar.
Yeah, MTV, but the ones that are too young. Can you hear this?
Yeah, no. Oh, that I can kind of hear, but it's trying to drown it out. But
Yeah, because I got a blocker for some. Yeah, but we can fix that for all our followers that are dying for me to play the keyboard. Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, let's see. My moment. Better now? I'm I'm destroying the set, right?
see, it wants to block it out.
Yeah, it's weird. I think you have to do this. Here through. Focus. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's okay. Neither do I.
What up? Better?
Nope. You've got to.
Break free. I got to break free. Sorry, people. I try. You know what? Let's just keep going. What is the first movie that you want to talk about?
I don't want to so much talk about specific. I mean, specific movies and TV shows will come up, but I don't want to. I don't want to overshadow my recommendations because that's going to be all. The recommendation portion, I think, is going to take up a lot. But I was thinking on my way home from the gym. Um, I've always had this kind of, even when I was young, I always had this kind of weird, not necessarily fascination, I guess appreciation for a good tragedy. I think it's, I think it's tied into the human condition where it's like we can safely experience what I should say, why a lot of people are drawn to tragedy as a genre is because you can experience that emotional journey without actually having to go through it yourself. So you're kind of experiencing it by proxy. But funny thing happens with that. So I'm sure there's a word for it, but I don't know what it is. But there, sort of the best way I can describe it is when I was younger, I had this desire to have the sort of like the sort of love or relationship that was doomed from the start. It was never going to work out, but it was better to have the temporary, you know, relationship rather than not have it at all. And I thought, yeah, that would, because that level of passion and feeling would just, it would feel so good in the moment, it would be worth it. Then I actually experienced it, and I wouldn't say I regret it, but it definitely feels different. And one particular thing I wanted to reference, because there's a couple of, it's not working, buddy.
No, no, I took the headphones off when I was playing, and you couldn't even hear me either.
It came in there for a sec, but it was like
What, you
really
couldn't
broken up.
nod? You couldn't nod? You couldn't
It
go like, oh,
just,
it's working?
it just happened.
And Ghost wonder why we're single. We don't listen. We're couples. Sorry.
What did you say? Something?
Nothing.
But no, there's a specific song, and believe it or not, like not necessarily an episode, but a story arc of a TV series that kind of encapsulates this idea perfectly. I'm sure you're familiar with the song Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. We've got tonight.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the theme from Friday 13 or Halloween.
No, that's not Bob Seger and the
That's
Silver
what I
Bullet
feel. No, I know. Yeah, I'm familiar. I would like to play that for you. Oh, I can't. I know.
There,
You know what?
but
I understand. I
there
don't want
there
to.
is a piano though.
Yeah, no, I know. I wish you can hear now. I prepare a full song. I'm so depressed. Everything that I play right now is like so down and minor chords, and
You,
I was.
it'll gone
I'm
through it
like,
enough.
I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm just gonna focus in other kind of relationships, and I start playing "The Cats in the Cradle" by Cat Stevens.
It's a good song
Yeah,
though. But
yeah. My
the
boy was just like me. Yeah. Anyway,
isn't
it's
that the
been
song?
tough. It's been tough.
Isn't that the song
What?
that isn't that the song that Barney was crying when he was singing
Yeah,
it
of
at
course.
karaoke?
Of course.
The
And the
cats
cats
in
in the
the
cradle
cradle and
and the
silver
silver
spoons.
spoon. Yeah, when he
The
realized about,
little
he's like, you
boy
know what?
blue and the man on the
The man on the moon is I want to say that TV show steals. I know we talk a lot about it in one episode, but I've been watching it again. I'm in season 8,
because it's
and it's
good.
so referential to our age and development and experience that is surprising, because in a moment in that show you are Marshall, in a moment in the show you are Lily, in a moment in the show you are Robin, and it goes all crazy. I'm in season 8 right now, and I'm like, damn,
Even,
dude, it's like,
but even Ted though, because there's moments where I'm watching it
yeah.
and Ted's doing something stupid. I'm like, Ted, you're so stupid. I'm like, oh wait, no, I've totally done that.
No, yeah, no. I mean, where everyone is, we even Victoria here and there, you know.
I've never been Victoria. Victoria is psychotic.
Victoria wasn't psychotic. She just was acting
She's
like a woman.
she's psychotic.
You see, you're not there yet.
You mean there's more?
Oh, there's more time that you are. Um,
I still maintain that Victoria is one of the most toxic and manipulative characters in all of
it's
How I
really
Met Your Mother.
manipulated, but it's really mature, because she understands that when it's no, she doesn't push.
Victoria?
Yeah, she
Cupcake
left
Victoria.
once. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when they met, she's the most manipulative person ever. The kiss but nothing,
Yeah,
that's that's unreal. But when
it's
they met
weird.
again in the in the Lenny Kravitz ball, architect's ball,
Yeah.
he's a rock star,
Such a
Leonard
great
Kravitz.
show.
So he's a rock star. Uh, she's, I mean, she got attraction for Ted, but she says, you know what? It's not gonna happen because I want to get married, and she's really clear about why she's getting married with somebody else, because it's Robin. In the
Right.
show, it's not How I Met Your Mother. It's all the journey for me to finish with Robin.
Yes, but you're forgetting that Victoria runs out of her own wedding.
Yes, because she loved Ted, but she couldn't
Right,
understand the
but she
connection
was
that she had with
but
Robin.
but she
And I
was
think
gonna
that she's
marry
saying, I know,
but she was gonna
trash.
she was gonna marry the dude that she okay, so there's some
I'm gonna try to
speculation.
say this. I'm gonna try to say this. The problem that she wasn't his Krafen trocken drochen dachen, nor his Swachen trocken machen dachen. That's the difference. Everyone can be a Swachen machen dachen, but not the other
But not
person.
everyone can be it. Which by the way, for a guy who's not German, his accent is
Yeah, I got the accent. I don't know what the fuck I'd say, but
well no so okay, so back and I might be merging events in my mind, but yeah, so there's some debate as to who if both of them cheated and who cheated first
well,
emotionally.
actually, emotionally, he cheated first for 10 minutes, 10,
Yeah.
because 2 days after she hooked up with Klaus.
Well,
Yeah,
that's where the debate comes in though, because the way she tells it later, she and Klaus were already kind of close. Now, I
yeah, they
don't
were
think
close,
Victoria.
but not cheating at all. Not at all.
That's why I gave the emotional caveat because
Yeah.
I don't believe Victoria did anything physical with Klaus until after they'd broken up.
But she was considering.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Ted's an asshole, but
Well, it was so, because that 12 hours that he was waiting for the call, that was exhausting for him.
oh
And
no,
let's
I
put
get it.
aside the jokes.
I've been in a long
And
distance
he,
relationship. I know. By the way, don't do it.
I never, 13 years in a long distance relationship. We continue seeing each other until the end, of course. But I understand. But the situation that, yeah, I mean, you're right. The thing that she didn't supposed to leave, she took she could stay. She
Yeah,
decided to go,
but
and
and this
he
is
could
why
live with her. He could live with her. He decided to stay.
yeah they need
So
architects in
that,
Germany too.
yeah, and they need bakeries. She got a job in New York working
Yeah,
in a
well,
bakery.
but and I get why she went because it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. But at the same
And they
time,
were 25. She was
yeah,
26. So
yeah,
I mean, professionally, that's good that she left, but sentimentally, I think she made a mistake leaving because she opened the door for Robin.
Okay,
Now,
yeah,
Robin
well, yeah,
could
yeah.
be more respectful. Robin could be more respectful. And then she played the victim because, oh, your girlfriend called. I mean, dude, come on.
Well,
Why
no,
are you
but
making up?
Ted had indicated that they'd broken up, didn't he?
Yeah, he said, how are you? We broke up. No, he didn't indicate he said that because he already decided that he was going to break up with her. It
Which,
was
okay,
just a
if you,
situation that Robin called him at 2 a.m. in the morning saying,
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
have juice?
if you want to have juice. That scene is so funny because it's like they play it so perfectly well. It's like nobody calls anybody at 2 a.m. for fucking juice. Like, that's a booty
I,
call.
and I never been called at 2 a.m. in the morning, but never in my life. Why? Because I'm totally asleep. I go to bed really early.
Yeah.
2 a.m. for me is like 4 a.m. for somebody else.
I
But
have I have been texted. I didn't get the message till I woke up the next morning. I have been messaged at 2 a.m. and I'm just like, fuck you. I'm old.
but you know what is something that goes back with this theme of the program today is how many reference and how many that one decision that is going to change everything, right?
Yeah, which, believe it or not, actually ties into the series I was going to bring up. Um, for those of you who aren't familiar with Batman, well, for those of you who are familiar with Batman Beyond, you'll know what I'm talking about. The relationship between Tara McGinnis and Ten, or Melanie Walker is her real name. It's weird because it wants to come through, but it's not. Your piano, I
Let's
mean.
see if I do this. Let's see. Just I'm taking the headphones. Can you hear me better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
There is no block now. You got to be able to listen to it.
I think it's Zoom that's trying to block it out.
You know what is weird? That actually you don't have headphones. It's not the blockers anymore. So it's supposed to go direct to the phone. So the block is actually in some stuff in our speaker. Can you talk?
Yeah,
Now I can. Can you hear me now?
I can. I still think it's Zoom, man. Yeah, it's cutting it out.
Too bad. That was cool though.
Yeah, she's not a working. But for those of you who aren't familiar with Batman Beyond, I will give you the synopsis, but I highly recommend you watch these episodes. And it spans a couple episodes, but the first one is the best and probably the best example. So, Terry, for those who don't know, does have a long term girlfriend named Dana, but because of his double life as Batman, they often, I wouldn't even go so far as to say break up, but they fight sometimes.
Lost him.
But in this particular instance, Dana essentially says they're done, even though it's debatable as to whether or not they've actually broken up. So Terry then
Dude, when
runs
a
in.
person tell to the other, "I'm done. I can't do this," the breakup is totally implied.
Right, and the reason I say it may or may not is because of how they're. But anyway, yes. So they have air quotes broken
Guys,
up.
today I'm moving everything, throwing it. I've been like this like for 4 days. I throw everything down. Nothing works. Even the Wi-Fi goes away. Yeah, well, I gotta break your heart. I never seen Batman Beyond.
You haven't?
Nope,
Oh
I
wow,
haven't.
you're missing out, buddy. It is on Max, by the way, for those of you.
I know.
But
For those that
those that want to and should watch it. So anyway, Terry runs into this girl named Melanie, and Melanie, basically is accustomed to having, and not, I'm not going to say it's a hookup per se, but she's used to, or she tells Terry that she's used to having, to say goodbye often because her family moves around a lot. What Terry doesn't know is that Melanie is Penn in the current incarnation of the Royal Flush Gang. So her family are criminals, high-end
wow.
criminals that always have a poker theme, right? And those that are familiar with Batman know about the Royal Flush Gang. There's been various iterations. This is the Batman Beyond iteration. So they agree to meet the next night, but they both are late because they are fighting each other as Ten and Batman. But anyway, they reconnect,
Hmm.
and then it looks like they might actually be able to make something work, something because her family indicates that they might put down some roots in Gotham because they're scoring pretty big. They'll be a little bit more careful, but blah blah blah. But then, and I cannot remember for the life of me how, but Terry does find out that Melanie is 10, but Melanie does not find out that Terry is Batman. And
Yeah.
this comes into play in a couple of later episodes. Now, Melanie has why the story is so painful is because Melanie does have the best of intentions. She doesn't want to be a criminal. Her family is very much making her. And in fact, I think the last time we see Melanie, she has left the Royal Flush Gang and is, you know,
Isn't that weird that you are just describing a merge between Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet? She
to a
doesn't want to be
point.
a criminal, doesn't want to be royalty, right? Romeo
Oh
and
yeah,
Juliet,
yeah,
the two families. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm amazed how everything goes to that. It's like, dude, and I know what they do it, but it's like amazing why they keep going to the same.
Well, but
It's
and
fantastic.
it's a very for a program that is definitely aimed at children. But it's kind of it's interesting to watch how sophisticated that particular story. And don't get me wrong, it's not the only sophisticated storytelling, but that's what we're talking about. How sophisticated it is because it's not just black and white. It's very and you definitely you feel the weight that's on Melanie's shoulders because you understand why. Because it's real easy to be like, "Well, just leave." It's like, yeah, but it's her family. It's her literal
Yeah.
family. Like it's literally her parents and her brother. And
Like the Montague.
yeah, exactly. It's not so easy. And what is she going to do? Leave him for some boy that has a girlfriend, and she knows he has a girlfriend,
And wait, a boy that is happened to be their art nemesis of the family.
but she doesn't know that. At least
Yeah,
I think
but
she
it
finds
will
out,
come away.
but later, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
but I was always very intrigued by that storyline because again, I had some. I don't even know that I'd call it a desire, but I always kind of like, I guess, romanticize that kind of relationship. But then, like I said, I went through it, and I'll give you the condensed version. And like I said, I'm not ashamed to admit this. I met somebody, I connected with somebody online very randomly, and we had a connection into a lot of the same things, but she was not single. And I'm not going to name names. So I said, that's cool. Like, what, not that's cool. I said, I totally understand. I'm not trying to break up. But long story short, we ended up meeting in real life, and we almost, it
Oh
would,
my God, Robin. Really, Robin?
hey, it wasn't
Really,
me.
Cyril
Oh,
Shabasky?
no, wait,
You mean really Shabasky? Yeah,
I
you were
guess I
Robin
would be Robin.
Shabasky
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I guess I would be Robin in that instance. Okay, here's the thing though.
Or Jack. Or Jack in fucking Titanic. Leave the couple alone. Leave. There's not your business.
Okay, trust me, we'll get into Titanic, but
Oh, we better.
I have a retort. Well, we have to. It's in the thumbnail. Like I knew it was going to happen. Um, well, long story short, so this person, this girl, because it was a girl, obviously, but
You
at
never
one
know
point,
in this age, and we will love you and respect you no matter
yeah,
who.
but it was
What
a girl.
you decide.
But at, at one point she had left her relationship and it looked like we were gonna move forward. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, like I don't mean this naively. I mean like I probably would have uprooted my life for, this person.
There's
That's not
kind
an
of people
understatement.
in the world that you will leave everything behind. Uh,
I'll be
because you
honest,
want that.
I would have
You know what?
gladly.
The issues as you get older in that subject, of course, is you realize it that you left yourself behind. Then you're not gonna be able to be the person that she fall in love with. One, and you're never going to be able to provide what she deserves. So it becomes a quadrangle, right? What you're
Big time.
supposed to be.
Right.
And
But
and I don't want to promote myself like always, but if you listen to the song again from Again and Forever, All or Nothing, the chorus specify everything that we're feeling. The chorus, if you allow me, I don't know why it starts sounding like Jeff Goblin. If you allow me, I want to express, say, thing. So the chorus says, I want it all and I want nothing. When I'm without you, when I'm without you, I lose it all. But I want all and I want nothing. When I'm with you, I lose myself. And that marks that, because sometimes we want to be that person so much, then you realize that you're losing yourself. And the moment that you lose yourself, not in the terminology that I'm a different person, right? I'm not being honest. No, in terminology that you are not the person that she or he, depending on the situation of whatever we're talking about, falls in love with you, because they fall in love with the rebel, with the rock star, with the arrogant, with the charismatic. But for a reason that I can't decode, that I don't see it bad, they fall in love with the rebel. They want you to stop being rebel. They fall in love with the guy that curse all the moment and drink beer. They want you to stop drinking. And I'm not talking a personal matter. I'm talking in general. I say it wasn't like that for me. But in health, for me in health was like that. Don't drink Coke, right? Don't eat McDonald's because they want me to be better. But then I ask myself, in what point, when a couple, man or woman, whatever situation here, man, woman in the middle, when we start changing the person so much, are we actually making the original version
Mhm.
to disappear? Or
Yeah.
actually are we so focused in be better that we're just creating a version of ourselves in another body? And I think that's where the problem comes. Because let's assume a stupid subject. I love drinking. Everybody knows that I'm not drinking. It's not me. I love drinking. And then I met somebody, fall in love, and she asked me nicely, please, can you stop drinking? And like you said, you do everything for that person, like the one that you were sharing. And you say, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking. And what happened when you stop drinking? You start hanging with those friends, right? So the influence changes. Your sleeping schedule changes. So now you're in a different mood, for good or for bad. And suddenly you're not the person that you were when she falls in love with you. And suddenly you are a version of her. So then when the love start cracking, because there's not attraction anymore, opposites attract. I understand that's a middle ground, but these are unwritten rules that I don't understand. Regardless the culture, regardless the ethnicity, regardless the age, we as men want the woman to be in one way, and women want the guy to be in one way. And I see couples that work correctly, and it's because they didn't want to change them. Because you fall
Right.
in love with that person.
Yeah.
Not like fucking Jack in Titanic. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And I no, but and I will say this though. I think part of the reason, like again, I don't say these things lightly, because this was post divorce. Like I'd already um, I'll be brutally honest, and like she may in fact watch this one day. So like this is the gospel truth. She never ever 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 wanted anything other than this right here. I couldn't figure it
Yeah.
the fuck out, and I didn't want. Obviously, I wanted her to be single, but other than that, I did like we just what we saw in the beginning is like boom, perfect. However, things then happened. She went back to her relationship, and at that point, I said, I've come too far. I can't go back to the way things were." And then we basically lost contact. Every now and again, there's like a random Facebook message, but it's nothing like nothing even close to resembling anything romantic, not much less sexual. But that was a very tough time for me. So now, like, I'll be honest, heartbreak really isn't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, but
At
you
least the
know,
normal level.
after my last relationship that was 13 years, right? Uh, it's been so long, right? That I'm kind of thankful that I just had my heart broken once. I don't know what is going on. Sorry to the audience. I'm trying to fix everything, but everything is falling. The stand, but I'm good now. So,
The sky is a fallen.
yeah, like now that we got entertainment, there's a beautiful song that reflects how, and the video is really emotive. I think it's 1992. probably a little younger than, I mean, older than that, not younger. Probably 1998. There's a song by the band U2 that everybody knows, for God's sake. If you're too young to know who U2 is, sorry, bro, you're not understanding 20% of what we're talking. If you are too old to believe that U2 is not a cool band, congratulations, sir or lady, you know are using YouTube, right? So the name of the song is I for I forgot with all this blah blah blah. I forgot the name of the song. Um, Electrical Storm. That's the name of the song. I don't know if you remember that song. In the video, there's a beautiful metaphor of how the guy is jumping into the ocean and pulling a tub into the ocean because he's bringing his world into hers so she can die and she bring her back to his. And that metaphor of exchanging the everything could be really dangerous in every case because we're just humans and we are full of defects. Yes, it's amazing to find somebody that is going to enhance and make you better, but the path to transform you to be better is, like I say, is really dangerous because suddenly you are not the person they fall in love with.
I think you can, but you're right. It's a very precarious dance. I think people can, and many do change for the better. But you're right, though, because how drastic is that change? What in fact is changed? Is it because I mean I've met people. I'll be honest. I've met people that were pieces of shit when I met them, and then just for whatever reason, maybe they did meet somebody, maybe they found Jesus or whatever, they've turned it around. But for every one of those, there's 10 people that change for the worse in some way, shape, or form.
And I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't want to go deep into religion this time. And I understand this unforgiveness when people say, I found Jesus, I'm better now. I mean, good for them, dude. But when you're born a wolf, no matter how much they pet you, no matter how much they feed you, one night you're gonna be hungry and you're gonna bite. There's a
Funny,
psychological
yeah.
matter and I shut up in a second. So just give me a second. There's a psychological matter that no matter how much you try to change a psychopath or a sociopath, and let me be clear, so we don't have a misunderstanding because everybody that listens to this podcast know how deep I'm into that analysis. Psychopath means that doesn't have empathy and doesn't understand what good from evil is, so they damage people because their suffering becomes their satisfaction. So sociopath is a person that like to create chaos through pain, but has empathy, right? So the reality is that a lot of humans in this world now at age, we're sociopaths for entertainment. I mean, have you seen these guys in all social media that they make really hard jokes in people that are walking? That is, they're walking in the mall and then they snap them and they're stupid. Yes, that's a sociopath. It's creating chaos to a stranger for another reason.
Yeah, and
When
then
it
they
comes to
bitch.
a
Yeah,
relationship,
and then they bitch, moan, and complain when somebody fucks them up, rightfully so. But
yeah, well, yeah, but when it comes to a relationship, and I want to be extremely clear, so it's not misunderstanding. This not happened to me. I know it didn't happen to you. We're talking about the whole concept of the development of the characters of the movie, okay? Because I don't want problems or comments of people saying, "Ah, you fucking," and if you want to do it, that's good, right? I don't care, but you're welcome. This is an open forum. You can say whatever you want. But if what if, right? I always had attraction to be bisexual, right?
Mhm.
And suddenly, after a long relationship, you never go, you never try it, or you try in the past, and suddenly you're dating a woman, in my case, right? Hypothetical, everybody knows me here. I'm just making a hypothetical to cover the whole spectrum of our audience. I got so much hurt or so much pain, or I did something wrong, right? What it if I just go right now and I start dating a trans or a gay, I'll be judged. But maybe I know a lot of people that they date women, got married with women, and then decide that they were gay since the beginning. But how long they wait because they were trying to please the couple. Now they have kids. and that's when it goes. Just I was so clear with that exercise, so we go to normal. Maybe the person is an alcoholic, maybe it's a drug addict, maybe it's aggressive, and they change for love, but when that love runs out, they're gonna become wolves again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with Jack in Titanic. But
It's funny you mentioned that because that I watched this movie last night. I don't know if you say. Have you seen Machine Gun Preacher?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Man, first of all, very good movie. But it's funny. It actually works in two ways because it's. I guess it's not technically a tragedy, but there's some really sad stuff that happens in that movie.
It's a dramedy, I guess. I don't know.
It's not really comedic at all. I'd say it's a drama. It's an inspirational drama, but
It's not comedic. Oh man,
not.
I need a psychological evaluation. Then keep going.
Well, you're a sociopath, but
I am. So do you. If not, we wouldn't be in a camera giving our point of view to change society perception. We are doing this. Everyone behind a camera has a percentage of sociopath.
I think every human being has a percentage of sociopath. But anyway,
Oh,
regardless.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's it.
So no, there's some. And I forgot how. I forgot some of the stuff that goes down in Africa in that movie because I mean that shit is sad and that shit happened. Like
Maybe I'm confused and I haven't seen it.
maybe you are. Yeah, Machine Gun Preacher starring Jerry Butler.
No, you know what? I totally got confused with the TV series The Preacher.
Oh yeah. No,
Oh,
the
yeah, that it
movie.
was very good, by the way.
Yeah, the movie Machine Gun Preacher, and I randomly saw it years ago, and I saw it came across my feed on because it's on Prime for those of you that may want to watch it and have Amazon Prime. It's very good, and you remember the whole Tony 2012 shit, the stickers that were everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it did. So it tells and I forget his name, shit, but he played. It's based on true events. Is a real hard dude in the movie. I'm giving you a very, very brief synopsis of the movie. Gets out of prison, thinks he killed a guy, um, thinks he stabbed a guy to death, right? Like, literally finds Jesus, gets baptized, and then just starts, like, doing a bunch of making his life better, realizing he was a piece of shit. And this is spurred on. This isn't random. This is spurred on because while he was in prison, his wife, joined the church and all that stuff. But down the road, he ends up doing a mission trip to northern Uganda. And this is around the time when Tony was basically a warlord in southern Sudan, northern Uganda. And one day he asks one of the freedom fighters, he's like, I want to see, like, I want to see what's happening because I keep hearing about it, but I want to see it. And then he sees what was going on, and this galvanizes him to do something about it. So he builds an orphanage down there, but then the orphanage gets raided and it gets destroyed, but he manages to save the kids in this instance. Now, this part I don't know if it's accurate, but as we all should be well aware, um, Pony and various other, militias and fighting groups in all throughout Africa were prevalently using child soldiers and taking the boys, making them soldiers, and taking the girls and basically selling them into slavery. So this was happening. So it follows the events of this guy who basically made it his life's mission to save these children in northern Uganda, southern Sudan. But he's constantly up against impossible odds. And what I liked about this movie is they didn't romanticize it. If he gets called out for his shit, there's an aid worker that actually gives him grief multiple times for doing what he's doing. So it's not like, oh, the conquering hero. You see the results of his, at times, hubris, or at times just the fact that he is just so ill prepared for what's going on. But ultimately, I think the moral of the story is doing something's better than doing nothing. Like, it's kind of a parallel with Superman in the sense that, you can't save everyone, but it's worthwhile to try. But I thought of that because you were talking about how this person is a wolf. This guy, even though he found Jesus, zero qualms picking up a gun and fucking people up. Now, granted, he's doing it for the right reasons, but it was there.
Killing somebody is not for the right reason.
Okay, no, I'm gonna.
As Batman.
I'm gonna push back on that. If
Okay, first of all, you study Krav Maga, so you don't have a clear point of view. You can
no,
shut
I'm
anyone
talking.
up if they attack you.
If
Did you kill
okay,
them?
okay, what?
I, did you kill
Maybe,
them? It,
maybe, but thankfully, nobody's ever attacked me in that level before.
yeah, because
No,
we all know that you do Krav Maga. What the fuck will
that's
do
not.
that? Anyway,
That's not because guys, I live in a safe country where that stuff is. No matter what they tell you in the media, that shit's rare. Anyway, so my example though.
sorry.
So you're telling me that if you're standing between an orphanage full of children and there's a dude coming that way and you've got an AK in your hand and he's coming and you know he's coming to either kill or take those kids, you're not going to waste that motherfucker?
Hold a second. Let's put this under a perspective. What he's wearing. I mean, what kind of weapons are you carrying, the attacker?
He would have been carrying some kind of semi-automatic or automatic weapon gun.
Okay, so he's I'm in Uganda.
Yeah, northern Uganda.
Well, first of all, I will never gonna be there.
Okay,
Period.
okay, fair, but
Just to start. But okay, yeah, well, I understand a situation that he put himself into that situation. Sometimes you need to defend yourself. You are right. I retreat myself. I concur with you. There's gotta be specific situations that you need to overcome for the greater good. I get it. Now, I don't know what this had to do with love, but
well, the
but
point I was actually agreeing with you because the point I was making was that while he may have been morally justified, he had zero qualms doing it.
and I'm
So
gonna
to your
say
point,
like Tina Turner said, what this got to love, what love got to do it.
he loves
So
God and he loved the kids and wanted to protect them.
I feel weird because when
We're
people
talking about
say that,
tragedy too, though.
yeah, of course, that's extreme. Okay, I'm gonna give you this one. Ding ding. Point to Jake, because but my point is people do change and people do adapt. Sometimes it's not in their nature to adapt.
Right.
And that's gonna be backlash. If somebody's insecure for day one, no matter how much secure or how much you do, because at the first mistake, that person is gonna come back insecure. At the first mistake that you do because you're an asshole, right? The insecurity is gonna run up and the asshole will defend himself. Guess how? Being an asshole. Why? Because nature won't change. And it's really hard what I'm saying. I mean, probably is one of the hardest things in the world. Meet somebody and understand exactly, respect exactly how that person is. Don't try to change them, and hoping that it's a perfect match, that that person doesn't try to change you,
Yeah,
right? So
it's very rare.
it's like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
But I've seen it before. Usually, that's what people, normal, common Joe, will say. Oh, that's the in love part. Then it's gonna go real bullshit. The in love
No.
part is like when you go on a date and the
Yeah.
girls ask for a little salad, right? And just and a glass of wine. I don't drink, and then they go with their friends and drink 17 tequilas, and then go to In and Out to eat a burger. And it's the same girl that at the first date we're like, oh, yeah, I barely eat. That same girl, it goes forward in 3 months, is gonna be farting in your bed, asking In and Out. Well, not In and Out, but asking McDonald's or asking DoorDash. This show is sponsored by DoorDash. I love that we were like that. like we have T-shirts and signs about every possible brand just to have them. Like every time we do a comment. Remember Wayne's World when they said we don't sell each other just when we want pizza and they put all the brands. You remember
Oh,
Wayne World Two?
I love it. I love it. That shit's so funny.
Yeah, that show was so. Anyway, side note, Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, they did in the Super Bowl a commercial, and they're talking again. They have a little
Oh.
commercial. Oh, and I saw what is the name of this amazing podcaster, legendary podcaster in New York? He curses a lot, long hair, small glasses like Lennon glasses. super
You're talking about
famous.
Howard
Howard.
Stern?
Howard Stern. Sorry, the name went away for a second. He
Yeah.
got an interview with Dana Carvey because he got a podcast, and he said Dana Carvey has a podcast, and he said that they met for in the Super Bowl for a commercial. They start talking, and they have so much history that you never know what's gonna happen. I don't know if they're gonna do another Wayne's World, but seeing a friendship like that they were like tight, that they I don't know what they thought though. But again, this is not just relationship as man and woman, as a lovers relationship. This relationship are damaged or adapt by friendship too, because you can be the best friend, you can be for that person every second of their biggest problem, but in the first disagreement, they take you for granted too, and they disappear. And
Yeah.
they can go and say, "Hey, I miss that guy. He helped me so much," but they don't ring the phone, right?
Nope.
And it's painful as well. Yes, that's director to Armando Steiner, aka Eagle. Suck it. I don't care.
Come on.
No, I mean, we don't even talk.
Oh, really? Ooh, that's
And I'm gonna be honest with this. If I was an asshole because I wanna lead the band to the contract that we have, I feel I'm not gonna go into details, but it's weird that even we agree to everyone take their own way, we will help each other. Not even a phone call after 3 calls a day is heavy.
yeah. Well, with that being said, would you like to ram the iceberg now?
Sure, please.
Which for before we even go, so I've
Sorry,
got
I'm
some.
doing the
Oh yeah, you're
come on.
fine.
Every time in my dreams. Keep going. Sorry.
I did not appreciate that movie fully until a couple. Like I never hated it, but I never really appreciated it fully until a couple of years ago. I watched it randomly, and I'm like, wow, maybe I'm just older, but holy shit, this hits different. First of all, holds up. 1997 still holds up. And also, if you would like to see, I've got some pretty, I wouldn't necessarily call them controversial views on Titanic, but I have some interesting theories and I've laid them all out. We did an episode of the Average Intelligence podcast. I believe we called it Titanic Deep Dive, but you can search for it on YouTube. Average Intelligence podcast, Titanic, it'll probably come up. Which, fun fact, that's how Virus and I met via TikTok. I'm sure I'm going to remind him of that when he gets back on camera. So, wow, full circle. Um, Titanic, though, did you hear what I
Actually, I
said?
was listening to you. Yeah, I took my headphones with me. I just went for somebody knocked on my door. My neighbor is like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw these lamps away. Do you want them?" I go like, "No, brother, thank you," because he got a recording studio next to the house,
Yeah. So,
and he was
so
really nice.
the Spur of the Moment podcast said, I've always said Titanic is a movie for everyone. If you're a girl, the first half is a romantic movie, the second half is a solid action thriller for the fellas.
You know
I mean,
what?
he's
He's
not
right.
wrong. He's not wrong.
He's not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. But
Who said that? Who said
uh,
that?
I believe it's Justin from Spur of the Moment podcast.
Hey, Justin, thank you for the support.
We
I,
also
I
need to
I
have him
actually
on.
agree with him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, tell him to
it's
jump
true.
in.
Oh no, I mean have him on as a guest. He was one. We got to find a good topic for him to come on with. But yeah, we'll have him on. But I was actually
And
telling him I
yes,
don't.
our love started with Titanic.
Yes,
Our bro love started with Titanic.
our
We
bromance.
swear under the bro code. Bro, 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 bro,
Oh my god, that's one of.
bro.
Bro. Wait, are they saying bro? Yeah, I got a monk
Yeah,
guy.
that's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah,
That is awesome. You know you can download that song.
yeah, of course. You
I
should
may
play
or
it while we
I
do that.
may or may not have done that already.
You know what I download? You just got slapped. I got that in my playlist.
Now, which version? The original or the Boys to Men version?
Both, both. You just got
Got
slapped. I can
slapped.
play. I would love to play right now. You just got slapped. Anyway, so
The way that you
Titanic.
just got slapped.
Uh, so
Oh wait,
Titanic.
we got Justin again. When I was a kid, I owned the VHS tape. Tapes. There were two. and I was a
Oh
huge
wow.
fan of the second tape. And you name the time and topic, I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you,
But
Justin.
Justin is one of the people that I said should play Virus Quest because he might win.
Virus Quest. We gotta do that. I'm sorry to the audience. It's been a roller coaster, and I will explain before the show is over because I think our followers need to know. Because believe it or not, I've been questioning social media what's going on. Actually, I got 2 threads already in Instagram because of the decision that they were made today. 2 threads.
Threats or threads?
Threads. Somebody told me, what the fuck is wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. Another one that I don't know who is user 34567 says, you just fuck everyone life.
Oh.
Regardless with the band, of course. So anyway, Titanic. Now I feel like, again, you see, we're doing the bit of talking about something and they're like, so the kitchen, like How I Met Your Mother. Anyway, so Titanic.
Oh
I
boy,
love the movie.
it's such a great movie. It
It's a
really
little
is.
long though.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I will say this. Yes, it is a touch long. I think 80%, more than 80, probably 90% of that length is necessary. And I think the only length that could realistically be cut and not really affect the narrative is part of the sinking, but that's kind of like,
Well, when
it's
he
why we're
goes
there.
down and then go up, and then she goes for the axe, and that's a little redundant. Now,
But that's building tension.
yeah, but it's a little too much.
Isn't it ironic, though, that the ticking clock trope actually takes up a lot of time?
Yeah, well, that's Steven Spielberg. But let me tell you something that I don't appreciate about Titanic because it's just one thing. A low life asshole like Jack that actually stole the ticket. Give me a second.
He didn't
Want to
steal it.
interrupt? He stole the fucking ticket.
He
He wasn't
won the ticket.
not playing fair.
He didn't cheat.
He did.
No, when did he
I
cheat?
count the cards 3 times in the scene. He
That's a
cheated.
continuity error. That's got nothing to do with Jack
Anyway,
Dawson.
okay. We can invite the Oracle, the professional poker player of the gang that we have in all our media. We have this discussion. Jack cheated. But anyway, let's
Okay,
assume he
no.
didn't.
Jack made his own luck.
Whatever.
Hey, if you're stupid
Was he
enough to bet
when
your tickets, okay.
okay, check a sec. Just okay, let's assume that you are handsome, bold,
Oh,
rich.
uh-huh.
You could be an asshole before being frustrated. You're paying one of the most expensive tickets for your girlfriend and her mom. You promised. Go, stay with me. Stay with me.
Well, Cal's not bald. I'm lost.
Well, he got bald after, not in that show, but he got
Yeah,
bald
yeah.
after. But my point is
You're
just
Billy Zane.
please.
Okay. Just, okay.
Okay. So you do that. You have a life together. You decide to give her an opportunity. Hold a second. Even she's being a little brat. Let me finish. Let me finish. She's been a little brat, and you're supposed to get married. And suddenly a pretty face with that rat ass appears and have sex with your fiance in the lower levels. Hold a second.
You're
Isn't the
skipping
right
very important details.
well, if he wasn't frustrated and she was kind to demand that she was gonna marry it, nothing happened, man. But she preferred to have a last adventure before getting married, overcoming the necessity of the family, the necessity of the mom, because he's not an asshole until he gets frustrated and offended that he cheated on him with a low life. I'm not. Just put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah, but no, they kind of go out of their way to show that he is an asshole from the get-go.
God, you know I love Jake. Give me a second, please. Don't interrupt. But if one day he's in that situation, he will remember that Jack is a guy that doesn't supposed to do things He's not there to find love and take the love of another woman, another man. Just saying.
I'm sorry, but
Amen.
Justin says you're sort of skipping over the fact that her fiance sucks.
I just think I'm gonna defend Jake. Oh my god. I'm just kidding. No, but you know what? If you analyze the movie, I was joking. I'm gonna talk serious for a second.
Okay.
If you analyze the movie, the guy is a serious, arrogant bastard. I get you that. But he doesn't go crazy until he realized how offended he is because he's engaged with a person that is an arranged marriage. I get it. But he's respectful to that point until they bring the potential lover to the table. Imagine that you're engaged and they bring a potential lover that is charming and handsome that is trying to steal your fiance. Everyone in this world will ask an asshole. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
No, but okay, so you're skipping over bits where, and to be fair, they're very subtle, but they do them intentionally. So, like, if you recall, the moment when she's unloading her paintings, and this is actually a very, very cool little moment because we, as people in the 20th century, or I'm sorry, that's the 20th century, people
I know
in,
where I'm trying to go.
yeah. So she's unloading her Monet paintings. We know who Monet is. He's newer, obscure at that time. So we instantly, like, we obviously know the artist has potential because we know where he went. Cal is basically just cutting her up at every turn, being a dick.
What year was that?
1912.
Tell me one male with a status like Cal will not do that.
Molly Brown's
Because
husband.
right, look, what?
Molly Brown's husband. And then who was the couple that elected? They were on the ship and they elected to die together. He owned a fucking. He
Look
was
at my
big.
face. Look at my fucking face. Do
I'm
it.
sorry, I just gave you two.
Ooh. Okay, we love Jack. Keep going. What are you gonna tell me now? That Luke Skywalker is the hero and the fucking Karate Kid was the good boy?
No. Johnny Lawrence was clearly the hero of that story. But
Thank you. At least you give me that. I can follow this conversation.
Oh no, Daniel LaRusso was totally butting in, like fucking. Yeah, no.
No
But
mercy.
but I think you're getting too focused on the character and you're forgetting the narrative. Cal has to be an asshole for the story to work because you're aware of this theory, but I'm going to share it with people. Which again, if you want more information on this, you can check out the Average Intelligence podcast episode, Titanic Deep Dive, where I go really into it. So Jack
really
is real deep, real deep, real deep.
Deeper than an Angela White porn movie, and deeper with the settlement of the Titanic is.
That's pretty deep.
You did the show, not me.
So my personal opinion, and I can back this up, the aforementioned episode will show this. Jack and Cal serve as foils of the masculine ideal, where Jack is on the masculine ideal, which works because Jack is a fictional character who dies in the end, much like we often see a symbol that does not
man,
usually
you just
live.
ruined it for the audience.
No, that's literally how
I know, I'm kidding. Who haven't seen it, bro? I'm kidding.
But Cal serves as the foil to Jack, whereas Jack is, and again, this also has like contemporary late '90s sensibility. So you're telling a historical story from a modern point of view. So yes, you're correct. Cal's behavior, even in the movie, Cal's behavior is not really seen as particularly bad or strange by his contemporaries. That's to Jack, but Jack's the odd man out. Also, Jack is American. Cal is. Oh no, actually, I think Cal is American, but you know what I mean.
Cal is American.
Yeah, but he's
upper class in that time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do an exercise with me because I understand your point and I respect it as always, of course. But do this exercise with me. Let's move Titanic to 2024.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Yes, you can. Just stay with me for a second. Okay? Can we do it? Right? So you have a guy that is, what is the name of the owner of Tesla?
Elon Musk.
Let's go, Mark Zuckerberg. You got Mark Zuckerberg, right? And he's engaged to this beautiful, his wife now, the Asian one. And suddenly they're going in the first trip to the moon.
Hmm.
Steven Spielberg, you do this movie and you give me royalties, I will not talk to you again, Steven. So they're going to the moon, okay? And one of the hustlers that are in the cargo that is gonna make a village in the freaking uh, moon, that guy steals his girlfriend just because he's cuter and he's an opportunist. And I don't understand what you're telling me. They're the contraparts because they needed a villain for the movie to work. I get it. But and I don't understand that in a fresh sensibility, he could be an asshole. He hits her. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking the Cal before frustration, the Cal before offended. I'm going to go back to the original. Let's remember that honor in front of everyone was a bigger issue. It's like being canceled nowadays, something important. It's something important. There's people that had suicide because they've been canceled. They took their life away because of that. So the honor, right, is tainted. But how old is I forgot her name, Rose. How old is Rose in the movie? 17, 18?
I think she's 17.
And how old is Jack? 19.
Yeah, they're close. They're closer. They're
And
closer in
Cal,
age than Rose and Cal is like late
32.
20s. 32, really? Okay.
So I'm assuming as a writer that will be. Have you ever dated well, no, but at 18 being your age?
Being my age? No.
Yeah. I haven't either, but I got friends that even married and they get frustrated so much because suddenly somebody from their own age will come and floor and be disrespectful. Of course, this is not Titanic, it's real life. What I'm saying is that we cannot just jump and protect the history of the romance without understanding that Jack, in a point, is a disrespectful guy that is always taking advantage of life, making his own luck. He didn't supposed to steal the fiance from somebody, man. He didn't supposed to. That's what I'm saying. It's not right.
True. I would counter though with so I'm not even saying it's a good thing or ideal, but I understand it because Jack does save Rose's life, and my
At the
contention.
end, but if the Titanic didn't crash,
No, 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 no.
they
I'm
would.
talking about when she almost fell in the very, very beginning. Rose would have fallen
Okay,
and died, and my question is, where was Cal? He was in
you
there
know,
smoking
you know
cigars
what?
with his.
You're totally good. I'm gonna give you that. The problem is not Cal. The problem is not Jack. It's the lack of respect that she had for life because she's a suicidal sociopath. Rosa suicidal sociopath that want attention because the lack of attention for her mother and her daddy issues make her think that paying attention, committing suicide, right? It will
At
be a solution of her life.
at that point, yes, but again, like you said, Rose at 17, and I also maintain the whole like there are several arcs that encompass that
You
movie,
know
and
that I'm
Rose
just
is.
being an asshole, right?
Yes, yes, I know, but actually, you're letting me, nerd out here. So Rose, throughout the whole movie, the movie is a microcosm of Rose being the stand-in for a normal girl going from girlhood to womanhood. It's a complete art. In fact, the moment there's an exact moment in the movie where Rose become what the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
No, the moment in the movie where Rose becomes a woman is not the one you think. It's not when she has sex. It's after Jack has told her. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I try not to do exactly the same to make a little creativity, but you know what I mean. Keep going.
Um,
That's what you mean when she turned a woman, right?
no,
When she turned into a woman.
that's
Okay,
what
sorry.
that's what everybody thought I was talking about. The moment I'm talking about is this is shortly after Jack kind of takes her away, corners her, and puts his cards on the table and says, "Look, here's I want you, but if you don't want this, I get it." Which actually it's kind of a weird scene because it's very out of character for
Such a
Jack.
respectful guy. Yeah, that's totally out of character.
It's a very weird scene. And I even say that in my commentary. I'm like, I don't because it's all like it's so out of character for Jack
Suddenly
to
he
be that.
became Cal. Suddenly he
Not
became Cal's
quite, but
leader.
he's closer. He's closer to Cal than,
Yeah, I
yes.
mean, he went closer to Cal. That's what I meant. Yeah.
But the moment Rose becomes a woman, metaphorically in the story, is when she looks over after this happens and she sees the little girl putting on the little lace gloves, very similar to gloves that Rose was wearing earlier in the film. And they do this deliberately. The wardrobe in that movie is totally intentional at every moment.
That's how you and me became friends.
Yeah,
Because analysis of the wardrobe.
yeah. So she looks at this little girl, and in her mind, you can see it on her face, and Kate Winslet nails it. She goes, "Fuck that." What? Oh, I didn't know what you put on your face.
It's a monocle.
That's a month.
You can't keep talking about that.
You're not Pasco. You're not collect $200.
No, it's
And
actually a thing that goes behind the phone so you can grab it.
oh yeah,
As everybody knows, I spend a lot of time in the phone, so I get tired with the finger to holding it. So keep going, keep going.
and you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey. Anyway, so that's the moment, and then that like watch from that moment to the rest of the movie. Rose is confident as shit. She actually initiates the how should we say the physical escalation between her and Jack. She initiates it, and she is very much in her own control of her own life and in her element from that point forward. Now she does still somewhat defer to Jack, and that's another theme, like I said.
Iki. Just say Iki. I don't want to do exactly the same. Sorry, I'm just.
Let's say Justin comment again. Rose was never committed to Cal emotionally speaking. It was a marriage purely of convenience. A big part of Titanic's classism, or a big part of Titanic is classism that I would argue doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, well, at least not normally and not in the West. Yeah, it kind of exists elsewhere, but even so,
happened to
not.
our intern? No. Remember what happened to our intern?
Yes.
And this happened, and Justin, this happened. I'm not gonna say names because I actually forgot her name. But let me tell you this story, Justin, and all the audience out there. We have an intern, brilliant intern from India. She was studying in America. She applied to be an internship at Force and Industries Corporation. After 30 people, we select her. And we select her because I'm the first one that leave India from my family. I'm study a PhD degree. I'm a programmer. I want to change. I'm a feminist. I'm gonna do everything. 3 weeks working with us. Suddenly she called me crying, saying, "My mom and my dad just came to visit on surprise. They already arranged my marriage. I'm gonna meet my husband tomorrow. I need to quit." Now, based on what we're talking right now, she decided to do it for her family and her custom and religion. And actually now she's happy with the guy. The probability of a situation like that and give yourself the chance to fall in love with somebody is really hard, but it worked for some people. Now, I understand that she wasn't committed sentimental to the guy. I don't think Cal never got a true chance from her because the mom, she was being a rebel with the mom. I think that Cal become a bad character because of the necessities of the script, but I think that he gets extremely offended because of that. And this just happened, a similar situation happened just it was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So it was an arranged marriage, but she didn't do the Jack thing. She did the Cal thing, and now she's happy.
Is she
So
happy? I don't know if you. I was going to say I don't know if you've
actually,
heard from
she
her.
sent pictures of her engagement.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
you see the face like she's this. No, the engagement was the day after she
Yeah.
quit, and you can see her forced. Then I saw picture of the wedding, and she's actually happy, and she texts once, and I say, "How are you?" She's like, "Good." I say, "Hello to your husband," and she's like, "How are you? You doing?" She's like, "We're doing great. I'm surprised, but we're doing great." Now, what I said when you left is that I don't think Rose never gave Cal the chance.
And
I don't think she never gave him the chance.
that may very well be the case because we don't know. We don't know. Probably not. To be fair, you're probably right. She probably resented him for something that her family arguably did. And you're right, she probably never gave him a fair shake. That would be an interesting prequel to see for sure.
Yeah, if let's assume that in the first time they went out, he was an ass. She treated her bad because if you realize at the beginning of the movie, he's trying to be nice and decent with her.
Uh, so there are things that we see Cal do in the movie that
I know, but
shows.
I'm talking about right at the beginning, and then you can see her start escalating, like I was mentioning to Justin, for the good of the script,
Well, I'm not even.
right?
I'm not even. I'm not even really talking about Rose necessarily. We see Cal do and say things that shows that he's just kind of a garbage human being. I.e.,
I don't think I think that he was just a rich man of the era from that era.
probably, but does that make him a good man? It's
Well, yeah, but not even Oppenheimer was a good man, and look, Einstein was a misogynist, and now we have movies about him and
well, I know
glorifying
because
him.
well, and one so God, it's funny. I've been thinking about all this stuff like the past 2 days, and we decided we were going to do this yesterday. But the problem with history, at least that most people have, I don't, because I think any real student or hobbyist of history understands this, is there has never ever been a perfect human being. So even though there are many people that we only revere them for a very small portion of their life.
And you know what? I think there's been one human being that was perfect. His
Virus
name is
Vox.
Master Chang.
I'm not
Master
Master
Chang,
Chen.
definitely. Oh, by the way, just to break the little tension of Titanic, do you think that you and me are suffering breaking up with our girlfriends? Imagine if you are in Asia and everyone looks like your girlfriend. Sorry to all my friends, Asians, you know that I love you, and I'm probably gonna
You,
be laughing about this.
you
I
asshole!
know. I'm Virus Box. What do you expect? My name is not Pretty Sue. Virus, thank you. But either way, I read that and I was laughing so much. It was 4 a.m. in the morning, your time. That's what I didn't send it to you. But I go like, oh my god, this has got to be, man. This has got to be. Sorry. So the point is, oh, you know what? Let me embrace something about Titanic that just came to my mind. Jack was a good guy. All right. I'm gonna stop being an asshole just to create controversy. He did a wrong thing for his own happiness. I get it. He did it for his own happiness, and then being even she initiated, like you say, the physical contact because her right and why not.
She pulls
Then
into the
he
back seat of the car.
and the point there is that he continued returned to be the good guy saving her because other guy could just take that, and the evil guy, even he got amazing eyes, Billy Singh, right? He was an asshole, and then he shows that he's more asshole now. He survived, hasn't it? Didn't he?
How? He survived the shipwreck, but he killed himself later.
When we know that?
She says it at the end, Rhodes says the stock market took
Oh
a hit.
yes, yeah. Well, but he didn't kill himself for Titanic. He killed himself for the market. Yeah. So you see, whoever is a wolf is gonna go back to be a wolf, and then it go to the full circle of what we're talking about. If you're an ass and you don't doesn't matter how much you want to change for the good or the bad for a person, if you're gonna change for that person and that person is gonna change for you, sooner or later it's gonna be a backlash that we could call the aftermath.
Is that a Dr. Dre reference?
No, actually, it was an Adam Lambert reference, but good call.
Happy accident.
That was a bad commercial of the 80s reference. Anyway, so yeah, Titanic, yeah, good movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what the hell you're doing,
If
but
you haven't seen Titanic, get off your ass.
I never seen it. I'm just bullshitting here. I'm kidding, of course.
You can't even bullshit me that you haven't seen Titanic. You know too much.
Yeah, well, I read the Wikipedia before starting the show. So anyway, um, You know what
So
other movie is really influential? Go ahead. If you want to go about Titanic,
I was
go ahead.
just no, not Titanic, but I want to make sure we get these because I'm playing around with the social posts on YouTube, and we had a couple people comment. I asked the people on YouTube, and a couple people did comment. You know what? Damn, what did I even say? Pull
What
up
do
the
you
damn
think
thing.
about Virus Vox? He can
No,
fuck himself up.
no,
Oh,
I actually asked. I said, "What's what when you think sad movie? What movie comes to your mind?" And Justin, so I'll do him first. Uh, Marley and
you're
Me
gonna
makes
do
me
him first?
yeah.
You want us to disappear? You guys want a room?
We don't. We got the car at the bottom of the Titanic. We'll be fine. Um, he said, "I've got a few. Marley and Me makes me cry every time." Or more recently, oddly enough, I wept like a child at the end of Clerks 3, which I had to think about that for a second. Oh wait, Clerks 3. No, I haven't seen Clerks 3 yet.
I haven't seen Clerks 3.
Oh
You know what,
fuck, I need
Justin?
to.
You just hit. You are the first person, Justin, to deserve a clap that actually put it, the both of us into a spotlight. I haven't seen Clerks 3.
No, I was thinking Clerks 2 because look. I'll be honest. I can
I
understand how
saw
you might.
Clerks 2.
I can understand how you might shed a tear at the end of Clerks 2, but I haven't seen Clerks 3, so like again, it's
I
a maybe.
didn't.
So yeah, I need to watch that. But
Marley and Me, I actually for any how long is that movie? How long ago it was released? 2008?
maybe
I don't recall staying awake or not occupy meanwhile
it's
that
the
movie
end,
was
man.
developed. No, I mean it's one of those movies that I block and I haven't let no one tell me anything about it,
Oh wow, good
right?
job, 2008.
Yeah, thank you. So how many years ago?
What was that? 14 years ago? No.
More.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Brother, we're in 2024. That's way more than 14.
I know. I just don't
As
want
you
to
can
think
see,
about it.
we're really good with communication because we both suck in math. But it's a long time ago. So I never recall staying awake watching the movie
16.
or not being and I'm gonna do my sound similar to Barney. Iki, 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 iki.
You
So that
watched
movie is
Marley and
one.
Me when you were.
I'm gonna repeat this more than 16 years ago. I do not recall staying awake or not being occupied with a female person. It's the perfect movie to watch 15 minutes and then iki iki.
Okay, yeah, because it's really the end. The rest of it's pretty damn funny. Whose dog is that? Wow.
I probably watch really 10 minutes. I'm really good.
Oh my God. If you look on YouTube, there's like a 20-minute compilation of Owen Wilson just going, wow,
Wow. Wow.
wow,
You
wow,
saw that?
wow,
That actually, if they make a number, how much money has he made doing wow? And he's like $250,000 for every time he says wow.
wow. But yeah, man,
So,
the ending of Marley
I
and Me,
never seen it, but I told you.
I'm not gonna lie. I cry like a woman. Like I cry like a little girl.
So, are you saying that women are different than us because they can cry more? Are you saying that really?
I'm saying that
You
on
make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Sorry.
yes, I kind of sort of am. I'm just saying I cried like a small child. There, I'll be
There
gender
you go.
neutral.
Thank you. By the way, you saw what happened in Argentina?
Specifically what?
Fantastic president, the best
Oh
president that
yes,
that country had. He
afuera.
said everything that is involved the government has female and male, not in the middle, no different languages, no bullshit. Thank you. Presidential mandate. And actually, catch you know how much backlash he had from that?
Probably not that much. Yeah.
Zero.
I did watch his speech at the World Economic Forum though, and I was like,
No, he knows what he's doing. And
He
what about the
does.
hair, man? That guy knows how to do with his hair, man.
I got a kick out of it. It's funny. I simultaneously liked and laughed at his video when he was going through all like the government ministries, like Minister of the Thank you, afuera.
Afuera, yeah.
And then he
You know,
messed up.
I saw an interview yesterday with him. Really funny. They asked him, why why you have your hair like that? Do you do your hair? It's a wig? And he went like this and pulled and go like, this is not a wig, but I got a system. Every morning I jump into the convertible to go to work, and I let the people and the vibes of the country get my hair done. And I'm like, oh my god, you're awesome. And they told him, hey, why? They put a thing that somebody came from the cabinet and tried to say hello to him, and he really looked at him and went like this. Look, Jake, offer his hand, the other guy, and he went like, and everybody's like, why you don't get? And then they ask him, why you didn't shake his hand? And he's like, why? Because that guy has been stealing from the country this, and this. I'm here to represent the people. I will not shake the hand of a thief just to look good in front of the cameras. That's tough. That's tough score, and that's pretty honorable of him.
That's awesome, actually. I liked him. The first time I saw him, I liked him, and I'm like, I don't know anything about. You know, sometimes you just see someone, and you're like, I don't know why, but I like this
Yeah.
dude. Or,
He
I
was a
knew.
football player. You know that? He played with Messi.
Oh, okay, yeah. That explains some of his popularity, but
But a
also,
long time ago.
yeah,
Long time
yeah.
ago, he
But
never picked up.
yeah, but it's funny though because sometimes I'll see somebody, and if they're in a competition or something, I do this with pro wrestlers often too. I'll see somebody, I just like just kind of know. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna be big. And the first time I saw him, I'm like, oh, he's winning. I can't tell you why. I can't explain it, but he's winning. And everybody was like,
It's
oh,
the
he's
position and the hair, man. It's the position and the hair
no,
that.
and everybody's like, oh, he's just the Donald Trump of Argentina. I'm like, yeah, and that's why he's gonna
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
They said the
You
same
saw
thing
the
about
interview between them.
between him and Trump.
You know that I'm Argentinian, so I know they met behind the scenes, and
I'm
he
sure.
went and shake his hand, and Donald Trump told him, "Hey, nice to meet you," and he's excited. He's like, "Nice to meet you. I'm so happy." He's like embracing the reality. He wasn't doing. He's not a. He's politically correct, but he's not a poser trying to look nice. He's an emotional guy, and that's the
Yeah.
perfect for the emotional people in Argentina.
Yeah, well, and then I have a hard time understanding how people can want socialism in South and Central America after seeing the aftermath of Venezuela. I don't understand it. You've literally seen it.
Argentina is too divided, and it's not for this generation since President Menem is really divided. So sometimes it's not about who's right or what's the better opportunity. It's just about what I believe, like really hardcore. But anyway, that's another reason of love, and that's another reason of heartbreaking,
Yeah.
right?
Justin
So
is illuminating us
sorry,
to
Justin.
Clerks 3 is super emotionally manipulative but effective. If you're a fan of Kevin Smith, it'll work for you, but otherwise, I don't know how much it'll work for you, but it's a major bummer, again, without giving anything away. Well, thank you for being extremely vague, because now I have to watch it.
Thank you, Justin. Because I hate when my co-host says, "Let me tell you about this movie," and he tells us all the movie.
I try not to, but then another commenter
I'm
said,
kidding.
Dr. Zhivago.
Ooh, deep.
That's a fucking downer.
Yeah, man. It's like,
It's-
uh, uh,
and then you watch the end of the movie and it's like
so
it's a
you know what?
downer, man.
It is, but I really appreciate. I don't know who is this person, but I really appreciate the fact that he is sharing because every movie is gonna make us feel different. It could be a guidance of how we want to feel. But when you're sad, you can put a funny movie and you're gonna cry when you're sad, and that's something beautiful when the movie transforms your feeling. And I believe Dr. Shivago is one of that. Uh, the Wizard of Oz, the original, could be really manipulated based on your state. It could
Yeah.
be. Now we need to remember that it was released in 1936, if I'm correct.
That's I know it's 1930 something. Yeah, 1936 sounds right.
So the world back then was different. So being a scared crowd without a brain, he was talking about all the people that wasn't respected for their race, right, and the rights that they have. Being the lion that wasn't brave was all the people that were scared of going to war, right? And the people without a heart was the hardcore politician that and the business people that they just care about themselves, right? And Dorothy exposes the hope of that is a better tomorrow, right? Uh, and going back to Dr. Shivago, I'm really thankful. I would like to see what exactly Dr. Shivago make you feel. Not about the narrative of the movie. What makes you feel? If you want to share that with us, I'll be happy to understand that.
Yeah,
When you
I
say we have another comment, I thought you were gonna be another threat against my Virus Vox person.
no, 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 no.
But in another movie, I don't know so much that it's not so much a tragedy as it is just really. It's a very emotionally mature ending, but Inside Out, I love
Inside Out, bro. Yeah,
I love how they put into words because the moral of the story, for those who don't know, which again, if you haven't seen Inside Out, get off your ass. The sequel's coming out. Like, come on, work with it.
what is the name of the sequel? Outside
I,
In.
just Inside Out too. Um, but basically, they put into words the fact that, like, yeah, these memories that were happy are now sad, but that's okay. It's
Yeah.
just like
Correct
I'm
me if
telling.
I'm wrong. I know it's Pixar, but they're the same people that did Elemental, right?
I don't know if it's the exact same team, but yeah, it's the same studio.
Elemental make me cry so much, man. I don't know if you've seen it.
I need to watch it because it's funny. I dismissed it early on, but I keep hearing good things about it, so I need to.
I thought it was gonna win an Academy Award. The It's so simple but so complex at the same time
And
that
those are the
it
best
made me cry.
movies. Yeah,
And you
those are
know
the
what? I'm
best
gonna be
movies.
honest. Probably every movie that I watch, I cry.
Yeah, don't watch
I
Marley and Me.
No, yeah, not right now. One day I'll be happy again. In a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I will be happy again. But I try to avoid those kind of things. And it's funny, music and entertainment guide us some places. I was talking to my mom about what is my favorite song ever, right? And it's Nocturne by Chopin in D minor. And even I told to my sister, and this is gonna be a little downer. When I die, you grab my iPod, you charge it, you put an external battery, you put it play and repeat, and you put it in my pocket because that song you play that song and I fall asleep. I mean,
So wait, you have a
I
funeral
fall
song
asleep.
too?
I got a funeral song too, of course, man. It's me. My funeral
Huh.
is already prepared.
Huh, I thought I was the only one. I actually have two. I have one to play at the beginning. Well, actually, I have one to play at the end of like the funeral part, and then I have one that leaves on a higher note for when they're actually lowering me down. And it's actually okay, so I'll share with you. The one I want played at my funeral, like during the viewing part, which I actually don't want to have an open casket. I think that shit's weird, but you know what I mean. Like when they're leaving the funeral home to go to the cemetery, I want
Politically correct is the when the body is present.
yeah when the body's present, I want Into the West from the end.
Macarena.
No. Into the West by Annie Lennox, which plays at the
Oh
end of
wow.
Return of the King.
I know
But
exactly what song is
yeah,
that, but
oh
fuck
man,
you, I'm gonna cry. Can you not just die? Don't die before me,
oh
please.
don't worry, I'll make it better. So, but when when they are lowering the casket down and everybody starts leaving, I want them to play "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" from Life of Brian,
Fuck, man.
all the way to the end too, where he's like, "Oh, I was like, well, it pays for this rubbish."
And thank you for this. I was going to thank you for sharing that point that I was saying that I was talking about. I don't want. I got the thing planned and I can share it with you, but this is just for me. So when they close the casket, you need to put that. So I'm listening to that song, so my brain is relaxed. That's separate what people gonna feel, right? I'm gonna have a video and I'm gonna send invitations and I'm gonna be really clear and loving, saying it was your fucking fault to a lot of people. But anyway, because everybody knows how I am. But I was talking about that with my mother, and my mother told me, well, but when I die, I want you guys to be happy. Don't be sad. I live a good life. And I want you to all play Smile by Charlie Chaplin. I go like, Mom,
Oh,
smile when you're thinking. I go like, Mom, you just, Mom, right? It's like, no, it's a happy song. Have you listened to the lyrics? I go like, yeah. But
yes,
it's
have you?
impossible not to cry. It's impossible not to cry with that song because it's a beautiful song, right? And for people that don't know, it's a really famous song recorded by Paul Anka, Frank Sinatra in New Era by Michael Bublé, Thousand, and not a lot of people know that it was written by Charles Chaplin, the comedian. He was a magnificent musician. So yeah, talking about feelings because of entertainment, right? That song, Smile, or What a Wonderful World.
But yeah, so I want to.
Um,
I I
Go ahead.
I love the ending of Life of Brian so much because it's so funny, but the song rings so true. Like it's completely absurd. Like they're literally going to die, and then but I love the message of it, particularly the line that's like that's the final basically the part I'd have to think through, but life's a laugh and the last laugh is on you. I'm like
You're gonna make me cry, bro. I've been depressed for 6 months. Stop it.
that's
But
what I think about. But goddamn, that's such a okay. So first of all, Life of Brian is legitimately one of the funniest movies ever.
Life of Brian is an amazing movie.
My favorite. But I still can't contain my. So I don't know how the actors tried to do it during the biggest dickest scene. Biggest dickest.
um, um, I need your opinion on something, and on the audience. I think that one of the songs that they're gonna play when I'm die is by Prince, but performed by Sinead O'Connor or whatever you said in American, right?
Ooh.
Sinead O'Connor. Yeah.
Uh, Nothing compares to you. But the Prince version with the solo version of Prince. Have you listened to that version?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's to make people feel bad. It's because if I listen to that solo, maybe I get back from that and say, God damn it, fucking Prince, they were good.
You just get up out of the casting and it's like, hey, play that shit again.
Yeah. You remember Man on the Moon?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic comedy, and when you're in the and it's funny how this show is, we're not talking about our fucking celebrations of life, right? But the Man on the Moon, when he makes everyone sings, I mean, you cry, man. Yeah, you hit you, and I think that that's a beautiful matter of creating, writing a good script. And I've been so pushy or so stubborn with this factor. A good movie is the one that empathizes with you through the character perception,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't love Star Wars or Star Trek only for the story itself, or Indiana Jones. It's how we empathize with our dreams through the eyes of the experience of the character. So yeah, that's probably what I feel so bad with Titanic, because without being an ass, a long time ago when I was like 24, I was the bad guy, Cal. And I was dating somebody younger, and an asshole just tried to come and do it, right? And you do whatever it takes, because at the end of the day, Cal doesn't want to feel offended by society, but in a point of him, he actually liked Rose, and he wanted Rose to be his wife.
Well, he wanted. So you're not wrong, but I think he wanted Rose to be a possession.
You know, I called Cal the other day before his suicide. He told me, man, I actually was in love, but I was so stubborn and so egocentric that I wasn't accepting that I was in love with the little girl. And I think that that's a subtext that emerges because
Wouldn't that have been an interesting angle?
yeah,
It would
think about
it
it.
wouldn't have worked for the narrative, but it
An
would have been interesting.
an older man from that age that is totally heels over heels about the younger girl, the red hair with a beautiful innocence to her. And that innocence that he's protecting until the marriage is ripping apart by a person that is doesn't supposed to be in that level of the boat. Think about it for that second. Now I can go to Rose's perspective. They're marrying me with this guy. I want the adventure with somebody closer to my age. I want to feel, I want to be in love. I deserve to be in love.
I think more than anything, though, Rose just wanted a say. That's the vibe I got. But I mean,
I'm respected. I'm
but
respected. Yeah.
we could literally talk about Titanic for longer than the movie's runtime, like dissecting it because it's such a
I
complex
think that
movie.
the movie that actually makes me always feel and portray real love is Jurassic Park.
Clever girl. Well, you know what? You're joking, but you're not that far off. Because
Every movie,
nothing will make you shift your priorities like a T-Rex.
well, depending if you move or not. And that's a metaphor about how much are you willing to move to save your life. That's a good metaphor.
Or are you willing to stand still?
And that we go back to the being yourself, or did you need to change your instincts? Because no matter, I mean, we all say, don't move when we're watching the movie. But the reality, if you have a 20 feet fucking reptile in your face going, you don't move. Yeah, you run like a freaking female dog. Yes, I say female dog. Uh, think about it. Have
Unless
you
you know.
have the chance to go Universal Studios?
A long, long time. Well, not that long ago,
So
but I've been there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Jurassic Park ride in LA. I probably ride that ride more than 20 times. I swear to God. And every single time I say, I'm going to raise my hand when the T-Rex is in front of me before the big drop. Look at me. Please, people that are looking at me. I'm going to raise my hand. Yes, I got it. Look at me. I got it. And the second I was like this.
Did you?
Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
And
you
I
can't
know
reach it. Yeah.
them. No, I can't. I mean, obviously you can't reach it, but I can't even leave my hand up because that's the instinct.
Ah,
And
yeah,
being
yeah.
in love, and being feeling is a lot of instinct on you. Why? Because you're gonna be carrying baggage, and you're gonna have empathy to the movies that build us. It's not the person, and it's totally proved by many psychological threats that when they torture somebody in the war in the modern times, they put heavy metal, right? And they put violent shots in front of them. So the Taliban, that is a natural developed warrior forced by a perspective of the Quran, he's like, oh, oh, oh. But if you put that music to a kid in America, he'll be like, holy shit, man, can I have some popcorns?
Turn that shit
Because
up.
they're like that. I love how this drums, right?
We're going to play Disturbed on loop. And I'm be like, sweet, which one?
Wait,
Which album? And
can
then
you play a
they're,
little louder?
yeah. Depending on the album, that
So,
could be torture.
but what if they put a sing of a mess kit for a kid in America? It will go crazy. My point is that you're gonna go crazy after 2 days of listening that. My point is, when you fall in love, is the education that you have, the baggage that you're carrying, the security, and the entertainment around you that pre-program a perception of love. Before we kiss somebody, we saw somebody kissing in a movie. Before we fall in love with somebody, we fall in love with Laura Ingalls, depending of age, right? With Britney Spears, depending of everyone age. So entertainment has such a powerful injection of the culture of love that people wouldn't imagine. What is the name of the song that won Best Grammy, New Song, and Best Song in the Academy Awards from Billie Eilish? No, 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 no. What I Was Made For.
What I Was Made For.
What I Was Made For. That song won because it's a reflection of society nowadays.
Mm.
Don't tell my boyfriend I don't belong. What I was made for. And that is gonna adapt to the next generation. So the next generation is gonna drag the baggage and the pain of that song to the next. And then when you realize everyone is on Tinder, we become disposables. We become no. I'm not talking, not me, not you. I understand that you and me have conversations in private that social media, being famous in social media is like being rich in Monopoly, and dating Tinder is like playing video games. I'm never gonna jump like Uncharted, right? It's never gonna work like that. So, what other movie? There's one that I want to touch. I don't know if you have seen it. Love is a Splendorous Thing.
I have not.
1954. Let me tell you the premises, if it will. Are you ready? Second World War.
Okay.
The Americans are invading Japan.
Japan or Okinawa?
Okinawa.
Okay, that's okay. Sorry.
He falls in love in one of the village. He falls in love like never before. She falls in love with him. In the middle of the war, falling in love with an American in that age was like a sin. Falling in love against, and I'm gonna quote had he seen the movies, not my perception, this series, the Japs, they call them the Japs. I find it totally respectful. But falling in love with a Jap was extremely bad. Because we're not talking about abusive fun, it's falling in love. And when he gets called into the front of the dispassionate love is a splendorous thing, he learned that that village is gonna get bombed by the Americans, and he cannot save her.
Okay, gotta add that one to the list.
Man, it's in black and white, the movie.
Yeah.
And the song "Love is a Splendorous Thing," it was written for that song. The acting is supreme, and that movie probably is one of my first movies that I watch. Of course, I'm not that old, but I got that impregnated, that's how you say it, in my brain.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna look, I need that kind of love with that kind of distress. To understand the perfect love, I need to live love. Again, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the hypothetical of that. A person of, let's say, your age, because we have a little different of age, is gonna have that reference. And I really think it's important to be honest with ourselves and understand what movie is the one that marks you, to even break the pattern or find that pattern. Because maybe our relationships aren't working, or are working based on that. Because at the end of the day, maybe in my brain, and I remember we talked about this, why women, based on their age and their nationality, they react different because of the education and entertainment that people has. But maybe in the back of my head, I want a unique adventure that is gonna finish in trauma for me to understand love. I'm going really deep.
No, but
I think you're 100% right, because to a certain extent we are the stories that we are told.
Yeah, we are. Totally.
We get, and this goes back to, and I wanted to touch on this, so it's a good segue. Like, this goes back to honestly the beginning of human history. And it's worth noting the oldest written story that we have that we know of is a tragedy. The Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah, it's a
He
tragedy.
loses, it's a tragedy in every sense of the word. He loses his best friend, and that's what sparks him on his journey. And then, I don't want to spoil it for you because honestly, if you haven't read the Epic of Gilgamesh, you really,
Well, if
really
you
should.
haven't, you need
Okay,
to
that's
read it,
fair.
really.
That's
But
fair.
I
That's
think
fair.
you can. I think that you can spoil it.
Well,
It's been around for a little
I
while.
was gonna say it's been out there for a minute. Um, the journey, okay, on the surface level, the journey was useless, but it wasn't because Gilgamesh learns to be okay with things as they are. When the whole point of the journey was to undo the death of his friend and seek immortality.
But that's what make you separate you from the pack. How old were you when you read that book?
I was late. I was in my 20s when I read it.
So it's impregnated by choice. It's inception by choice. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if inception could be by choice, but you know what I mean. But it will be interesting. I know. I'd be interested to know because I got two movies that marked me before I understand that they were marked me. Love is a Splendorous Thing, and the other one, I used to have different education growing up, so I didn't go to school, as you know, and we talk about this because a lot of my family things. So I got a chance to watch uh, movies around 10 a.m. in the morning, right? When people were in school or running behind a ball, I was watching a movie without any restrictions because I was in other countries. The Hidden Garden.
The Hidden
It's a
Garden or the Secret Garden?
The Secret Garden.
Oh
The
man, that's a
Secret
good
Garden.
one.
But probably that's the two ones that probably was the first movies that got create inception on my brain. So if you realize that and then you put it into perspective with my life, you go like, holy shit. Everything start making sense. Think about it. Maybe that's what I'm so private. Maybe that's what I don't open so much.
Is
Maybe
that
that's what I.
is that why you're a Dickin?
No, but I'm pretty sure, and I know we talk about this. Women in Latin America, they are more dramatic because they grow with telenovelas. People in England are different because they grow watching live theater through the television on the BBC.
And they have to
People in Russia,
stiff up a little.
right? But if you go out and you date a woman that the only thing that she watched was Cheers, right? She's gonna be arrogant, or I'm gonna put it the other way because I don't want to sound bad. If you're a woman and you go and date a guy that he got that inception of Cheers, he's gonna be cool. He's gonna be Sam, right? He's gonna be a player, but no, he's a good guy because he's tired and he's gonna give opportunity to love, right? You're gonna be able to annoy him, and you're gonna be able to overcome the annoying. Now, if the inception is what is the name of the big guy that always drink beer?
In Inception?
No. In Cheers,
Oh fuck.
Norm,
Norm.
Norm, Norm,
Norm.
Norm. But now, all who you gonna choose of the entertainment for Inception will relate to your mom and your dad. That is perfectly explained by Sigmund Freud, right? That, and if you realize you're gonna the couple that you have, and I know it could be that I'm reaching too much, but we talk about this, the importance of entertainment. It will dictate the path that your kids now and when you were a kid are gonna react to life. That's what the Generation X acts in some way. That's when the what is the other generation, sorry, after X?
Well, that's debatable, but technically millennials.
Millennials. That's debatable, but you know what I mean. You're a millennial, right?
Okay, so this is a whole thing. So
Keep going, because
technically,
I want to show you something.
technically, by the accepted definition, I am now. But here's the thing: they changed the definition. So there used to be, and you can find this. You have to dig for it now. But there used to be, and I actually agree with this, and here's why. So there used to be a generation which has been absorbed into millennial. It's an umbrella term, but there used to be a generation called Generation Y. And basically, the distinction that I drew, and I read it somewhere, but I agree with this. So, a millennial is someone who grew up in the late 90s, early aughts, whose parents were Generation X.
Yeah.
Gen Y were people like me who grew up in the late 90s, early aughts, whose parents were baby boomers. They had kids later. Because, just like you said, grew up listening to completely different kinds of music, and I had this conversation with my ex-wife once. So I grew up listening to like Styx and Fleetwood Mac and Lionel Richie and stuff from like the 70s. He grew up listening to like Journey and God, I'm having a complete Madonna.
White Snake.
Whitesnake, yeah, stuff from the 80s. Not to say I don't like music from the 80s.
Mode.
Yeah, but, like, obviously I heard it, but that's not what... Like, I was raised on Styx...
That is not its inception in your brain.
Oh, exactly.
That's, like, because of my international exposition, right? There was a group, it was like, I don't know how to call it. It was like how you will call a band that is like a boy band but has girls in it? A mixed band? I don't think
like,
that
just like a pop band.
Yeah, but they dance together like a boy band, but it's four girls and two guys.
A pop band, yeah.
So, do we have an American reference of that?
Not really. No, we kept the genders.
The Disney Club.
Oh yeah, Club. Okay.
But it was the club. It was a TV show. It wasn't a band.
Yeah.
But imagine the Disney Club in Latin America was a group called Timbiriche, and then Menudo, and then Parchis that was from Spain. So all the kids are listening to that, and I know them. But because of my brothers being older and my international exposition, I'm listening to the Sticks, Bob Marley, but I don't like reggae. Bob Dylan is a huge influence in my music. Kiss, and then Guns N' Roses because of my age. And if you talk about a kid from another from my same age, they don't even know. I listened to The Dark Side of the Moon when I was like probably 4, and it was an old album already. Did I didn't understand it? No, but you know what I mean. So then you go to school and you don't fit. Why? Because they listen to fucking Parchis. Tell me how many times I saw the Mickey Mouse Club. 0. I mean, the first book that I read hidden in my house that I got memory was Neptune by Julio Verne. The 5,000. How is the full name? You know, the 5,000 under the sea. I know the name in Spanish.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Leagues Under the Sea. That was the first one, and Ecus. And Ecus is an adult. It's totally adult, but it was there, right? So anyway. My point is that we just need to be aware of what we are sharing. And now it's something that worries me because before we have television, magazines, and movies, right? And we didn't have access to all of them. Now kids have access to everything because of social media and their phones, everything. I don't find any attraction when a kid is 5 years old and is cursing, saying "fucking bitch," and got 2 million views.
Yeah, no.
Right, and got 2 million views. My manager keep calling, and I think he just remembered we're doing the podcast. Hello, Ken. Thank you for calling. Anyway, uh, falling in love and drama is involved and correlated to the education of the visual arts that has been in your life. Am I correct, Jake?
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's funny because it depends on what you're talking about. Because sometimes our society likes to pretend that, oh no, it doesn't matter. Like when it's something that they want, i.e., not trying to offend anyone, but I mean, let's be real. When you've got cartoon characters aimed at ages like 5 to 12, talking about how they're non-binary or oh, I think I'm a girl, blah 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 blah. Like those are ideas that can and should be explored. Not that young because you're at an age where it's inceptioning you, not provoking thought. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's
So
a big difference.
but that's when a lot of people argue. It's like, well, yeah, but it's not like they're influenced that heavily. Meanwhile, you have congressional hearings about violence in video games. It's the same thing.
Let me put you an example that I want to share with you to see your perspective and all the audience. I got approached by a company with a great idea and I'm not going to jump into the AI topic, okay, please, people. But if we do this idea, we can generate millions, but we will take more than 3,000 jobs. Is the ethical thing to do? Are we going to do it? Well, you need to keep watching the podcast. But the reality is that my perception, coming from born in a third world country, growing then into a first world country, then going back to a third world country, now living in a first world country, I'm like, yes, it's better, but I'm going to destroy 3,000 families. The guy can lose their job, but that person, if he doesn't have a job, he's not going to be able to fulfill his family. And we can create a disruption in society more than in the economical area. Yes, one of my advisors told me, we don't do it, somebody else will do it. We can take care that there's always a human involved. I said, yes, but it's the same. 10 jobs for one. So the same is based because when we have a meeting from the Imagineers in the company, I'm not the older Imagineer, I'm the lead Imagineer, but the older Imagineer is 74. The younger Imagineer is 14. And their perception is so different based in the education that comes correlated with the entertainment. Bob Dylan, Songs of War, remember, or Protest. Bruce Springsteen. People think that Born in the USA is a fun song. Do you know what the song is about? It's a veteran that gave everything from the country and lose his life when he returned to the country. Not because it's catchy. Bruce Springsteen was and still is a fighter for the rights and he's a political guy.
That is, I always chuckle a little bit when like they play Born in the USA at like super patriotic way. Yeah, yeah, on the 4th of July, and I'm just kind of like, did you listen? Because I mean, there's other songs you can play like that are probably a better fit.
And don't take me wrong, I love the song and I love Bruce Springsteen, but now the message is changed because of the second generation that it didn't grow up with that, because the people that play Born in the USA, they're not from the 70s, man.
Well, it's also, you can make the same argument to a certain extent about Ain't That America, Mellencamp.
Yeah.
A lot of people love
totally.
it. Yeah. Ain't That America. I think they play that on the 4th of July sometimes too, and I'm just like,
you want to put a real good song that doesn't hurt nobody and is perfect for the 4th of July? I'm going to play the part and in your mind you're going to listen to everything. Sweet Caroline. There you go.
Dot.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? That doesn't hurt nobody, and it's the most American thing I ever heard in my life. But anyway, yeah, you know what other movie will be great now that we're talking about? I watch this movie when I'm really, really sad because in a particular way, and I think I mentioned to this, I don't remember if it was our private talks or online. The Pianist.
Yeah.
The Pianist reminds me not to give up. The
Oh man.
Pianist told me, stay there. It will come light. You're gonna lose your family. You're gonna lose your race. You're gonna lose your whole town. You're gonna lose your ability to do what you love the most. But guess what? If you keep going no matter what, you will have a second chance in life.
Have you ever not because I know we're probably going to go into the recommendation soon. This is not a recommendation, but I watched it recently. Have you ever seen the movie Europa Europa?
Nope.
It's a little bit older, but it's extremely good. Another based on a true story. God, this movie will stress you out. So there's some movies where like somebody's going through like actual just constant high stakes, and the thing is,
Ordeal.
yeah, an ordeal. But this is based on actual events. Somebody actually did this. It was a Jewish German boy, a German Jewish boy who loses his entire family, is caught in the crossfire between the Soviet Union and Germany. Gets so he. Long story short, they trying to escape the Nazis, so they leave Germany. They go to Poland. Poland gets invaded from both sides. So as you know, spent some time in a Russian orphanage, but then shit goes sideways. He ends up faking because he speaks German. He ends up fooling some of the German army soldiers, and they keep him on as like a little interpreter. But then he ends up in the German army. But since he's under 18, he gets sent to Berlin to join the Hitler Youth School. Keep in mind, he's a Jew.
Yeah. A Jewish person.
Yeah,
Not a Jew.
he's a Jew. Um,
Oh my God, he's a Jewish person. You cannot say Jew.
yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. That's a cry of solidarity. I am a Jew.
Yeah, if you are a Jewish person, you can say
I'm not.
that.
I know. I'm no Jew. Jew is not a
Yes. Look,
derogatory. No, it's not.
it's not derogatory. It could be offensive for somebody. Not for me, and I take it. And Alexander will take it with no problem because we know that you're not mean it. But just
Who?
humor me and say Jewish people,
Well, no. Now I've got a question though. Who would be offended by the phrase
the
Jew?
Jewish people.
I've
No,
never. And
because
I.
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because that's the way that the Nazis refer to them. They don't call them Jewish people; they call them Jew. Trust me.
Okay, if I've offended any Jewish people out there, it was not my intention. But I've never ever.
The only person that you can offend is Lenny Kravitz.
So
He's a rock star.
so wait.
Your dog is bothering you too, or is your cat?
It's the cat. So, but by virtue of
Oh,
that
he's on
logic,
my neck here.
Mexican is derogatory.
No, because you're not calling us nacos. You're
Anyway,
not.
anyway, good movie. You should watch it. But anyway, that's a good segue into recommendations, I think.
There's a movie that it was nominated for some awards at the Oscar with Jodie Foster, the new one. She's a swimmer. What is the name?
Night
Naida.
Night
You know
Swim.
what I mean? No.
No,
It's the
that was
name
a
of the
horror
of
movie.
the swimmer. It's the name of the swimmer. Niven. I don't have my iPad here. Well, that one. I arrived when my mother was watching it, man, and I just watched the last 40 minutes or the last 30 minutes, and I was crying like a baby.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Now, if you really want to feel and you really want to push yourself to, I mean, documentaries are really good to do that because they make you feel. It's not just about love, right? Or heartbroken. It's about emotions. And there's a documentary by, he's on Disney Plus, Over the Net, I think is the name. It's about Coach Jim Balbano and how he took the team and make it win the NCAA tournament. Man, if you don't cry with that, you are not human. you are not human. So yeah. But anyway, I think we make our point. I think that we explained correctly everything. I don't want to take more time of our audience. Thank you, the people who've been here. What about some recommendations?
All right. So, as per usual, sad shit. Pretty much all, actually, yeah, all are tragedies in certain extent. So, my movie, I think I've mentioned it on here before, but I don't think I've recommended it. And
Okay.
recommendation is used loosely here. Because I'm not recommending this movie because it's a pleasant experience. It's not. It's very much, it's rough. But I think everybody should watch it. Now, there is one sort of disclaimer, like a legitimate trigger warning, because if you have ever been assaulted in your life, you might want to skip this one, or at the very least, don't watch it alone. And you're probably going to want to take breaks when you're watching this movie. I know I've seen it
That is
twice.
strong.
I've seen it twice now. Once with the initial viewing, which I'll be honest,
Are you talking about Ace Ventura too?
it's just so no. Actually, I don't know if you've seen this movie or not, but I'm going to tell you. So I've seen it twice. The first time I had to stop it about midway because it was just too much. I just, like I said, I had to step away for a minute, for a little while, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't remember how many. I think I cried 3 times in the movie. And then I watched it again for research for a video I did a couple of years ago, and again, I had to take a break about midway through because it had been a couple of years between viewings, and I only cried once the second time. Dude, it's a fucking downer, but it's worth seeing. It's worth going through the experience. The movie is called Flowers of War. It is based on events, but with some fictional characters. So it's historically authentic, not necessarily accurate. Like I said, it is based on real people, but they're changed around a bit. Starring Christian Bale, who delivers a stellar performance.
Well, Christian Bale, he haven't done anything bad in his whole life.
Pretty well.
Nothing.
So the premise, because I'm not going to give that much away on this, the premise is Christian Bale plays an undertaker who's been hired to bury a priest who was basically the priest of a church that is in Nanking, China, and it just so happens to be during the Nanking Massacre, or probably better known as the Rape of Nanking.
Never seen it before.
Oh, dude, wow. It's they pull no punches, and I completely understand why. It's phenomenally made. It's very historically authentic. Meaning the characters are fictional, but a lot of what happens in that movie actually happened to people. It's just they combine events to happen to the same people. But it's based on an account of. I'm actually going to be doing a video on her. It's based on an account of an American missionary who was working at the school and basically created a safe zone. God, I don't want to ruin it. There are some.
Don't.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it right now.
I was
going to watch Dune 2 finally, but I just prefer to watch this.
Oh, dude, Flowers of War is a rough.
Flowers of War. I will watch it. I'm gonna tell you one, if you allow me, that is gonna go. These people and actually, I'm sorry,
not to cut you off. I just wanted to add one thing.
Yeah, sure.
So, kind of a disclaimer. Like I said, if you've been assaulted, probably don't watch it alone. And just when you think shit can't get any worse, it gets way worse. And the ending is like a knife through the heart. Because you literally, you don't think it can get worse, and then it gets worse. Yeah, okay.
I didn't want to hear. So, this one, totally disclaimer, people. This is not for kids. I'm probably barely for adults, what I'm going to tell you. As a director, and I want to consider myself an adorer or fashionist of movies, I study movies. Marcello Mastroianni. directed this movie, or it was Bertolini. Anyway, Italian crazy motherfucker. The name of the movie, if you don't want to, because if you see it with bad eyes, you're not gonna feel it. You need to see it with open mind. This is not for adults. I mean, for kids, barely for some adults. It's called Salo. Salo. Talking about totally art here. But it's so hard, so deep into the human behavior of evil. I'm not talking evil Freddy Krueger or Jason or Mike Myers. No, I'm talking about evil premises. Warning people, big warning. Do not watch this movie if you don't want to feel anything, because you're going to feel disgust. You're going to feel pain of the human race. You're going to feel disgrace of the actions.
I think
12
I've heard of
kids
this. Yeah. Go.
from
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
15 to 17, they're taken to a mansion in the 30s with 6 rich politicians, and they will suffer every kind of abuse for them, for their own entertainment, and the only shelter that they have is an old retired prostitute that is guiding them to be ready for the abuse of the politicians. I'm not going to go deep. I'm going to tell you one scene so you understand. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch it. Save yourself. But if you're into artistic films, and if you want to feel, not good nor bad, feel, that's a movie to watch. They stop them from eating for 4 days, and then they put them leashes like dogs. You watch this movie before?
not
Seen the whole thing, but I've seen
And they
some
put
scenes
they
from it.
put wet bread with nails, so the only way that they can eat is they biting and crossing her palate and tongue, just for their entertainment. That's pure evil. I'm not talking about an evil of I will tear your soul apart. No, no, no. I'm talking about real evil. The movie was so upsetting that somebody run the director with a car after the premiere and he died. That hard. So if you want to feel good or bad and understand humankind and the darkness of the soul, watch this movie. And you know what? I just remember the movie based on what you said right now. My suggestion was something normal. I remember this movie. It's upsetting to the point of the human centipede is a walk in the park.
yeah,
So, and that's I don't think I needed to say it, but obviously, Flowers of War is not for children. Do do not let your children watch Flowers of War. Minimum 18 years old. Probably still too young. Not gonna
Probably
lie.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably because I mean you again. It's a movie. I know it's not real, but when you remember that these things happened, and I've read the book, The Rape of Nanking. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish I hadn't because the scale. It's the scale. Like it's bad. It's very bad, but the scale of it. It's just we cannot fathom today. Well,
We
most
are
of us.
dark, brother. We're
Well, no,
dark
that's
right
what I'm
now.
saying. Like it's I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah, no, there's TV shows. TV
Yeah.
shows.
Okay. So, oh, my TV.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
going really dark. And
yeah,
please, but we're going through something, so please stay with us.
yeah. Well, this is another downer. I discovered this show. So you're old enough to remember this because you're a little bit older than me.
Thank you.
Early 2000s. I didn't say you were old. I said you were older than me.
Bro,
Early.
you little kid.
Hey, you whippersnapper. So early 2000s when anime was kind of fringely popular, boy, they would advertise series. They would advertise almost all anime aimed at young boys, right? Even series that were not aimed at young boys. So I saw a preview for this series, Saikano, and the way they marketed it was there's a girl who is a weapon. And I'm like, oh, cool, this is action. So I watch it. It's not an action anime. Or it's a manga too, but I read the manga. The manga's even worse. But, I mean, like, the manga's good, but I mean, it's even more of a downer. So the premise is, yes, this girl is a human weapon, but what they don't tell you in the preview is that she falls in love with a boy who obviously doesn't know that she's a human weapon. What they don't tell you is that Japan, or at least this representation of Japan, is in the middle of a world war. A nuclear world war, mind you. And every time this girl, I guess transforms would be more accurate, but every time she is used as a weapon, she's slowly dying. She will never get better. It cannot be changed. It is a completely hopeless scenario. So you go from a love story, and I'm not spoiling it because trust me, you think this is bad, just watch it. It gets worse. So the story shifts very quickly from like a young teen romance into everything is awful. There's no hope. So we just need to make the best of what we have for the time we have. And then it gets even fucking worse. And I'm not going to tell you how it gets even worse, but trust me, it does. And by the end of it, you're kind of glad it's over. Wow. It's beautifully animated. The opening theme is really, really good. But it's a downer, man. It's a real downer. This was I forget the name. It's the genre of anime and manga that seinen? Yeah, seinen, not shonen. So this is aimed at middle-aged adults.
Yeah, I know seinen. I'm not gonna go to a TV show because I'm gonna just tell you my original movie about love and desire, and even it's a hard movie with a lot of pain. The embrace of love for the loved ones is really good. So that was the first one till you put me in that state of mind. You see how entertainment makes you change and feel? The movie Impossible from 2016 with Saint Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts about the tsunami in Asia. Whew, man, you feel, bro. You feel desperate. You feel despair. You will cry several times. And of course, I was having a conversation a long time ago with people when they tell me, how you can go to the movies and get scared? Or why are you crying? Well, because I'm allowing myself to feel. If I'm going to go and watch The Ring, I'm going to, of course, it's not coming with a long hair. But if I'm allowing to myself, if I'm allowing me to let my perception open, so I invite you to let their perception open and watch Impossible. And I just needed to share that because I don't want people to think that we're Donnie Downers for everything, right?
Actually, I'm kind of surprised how happy we stayed in this episode.
Yeah, well, because we're mature and we're professionals.
This is true, and it is important too that when you watch movies like this, you need to be able to recognize.
Decompress.
Yeah, decompress. That's the perfect way to say it. So my song recommendation, it's not inherently a sad song, but it's very sad for me, and I will explain why. Failure by Breaking Benjamin. So
I recently discovered that band like 3 years ago, and I fell in love like that.
It's so good. They are so good. So Failure. I originally had it on my playlist because I just thought it was a kick-ass song. And this goes to show you how different experiences and perspectives can change the meaning of something like that. Failure was playing when I was driving when I received the phone call that my dad had died. Now, not only that...
Sorry, bro.
Well, this song is kind of the perfect representation of my father because the best way I can describe my father's life is it was a tragedy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Now, a lot of it was his own making, but like most things, it's not clear cut. My father made some really poor decisions for his own life, but a lot of those poor decisions stemmed from the fact that he was dealt a shit hand multiple times in his life. To kind of put this into perspective, later in his life, my father, I'm not even going to say he found religion because he was never a religious guy, but he found comfort and inspiration in Dave Ramsey because he was in a financial hole. My father paid off $70,000 of debt in 5 years.
Wow.
And then my stepmother at the time racked up, I can't remember if it was $10,000 or $20,000 in debt behind his back in his name.
Wow.
So imagine that throughout an entire lifetime. That's pretty much my dad's life. And I'm very happy this happened because, like, I've talked about this before. My father and I had kind of an odd relationship. We were never like at odds with one another, really, but we didn't understand each other. But I'm so thankful. I just decided to randomly go to his house on Christmas Eve one year because I'm like, I haven't spoken to my father for 5 years, and I don't know why. I thought he was mad at me. I couldn't tell you why. Why he was mad at me. I just thought he was. And I knocked on his door, and he didn't recognize me at first. That's how long it had been since we'd seen each other. And then he finally clicked. Oh, actually, I told him who I was, and he apologized. And then we had a. It was painful seeing my father like that because he was obviously depressed. His house was. When I say a mess, I don't mean like, oh, it was kind of sad. I mean garbage everywhere, like covering the floor.
He was going to something.
Yeah,
He was depressed.
But he was coming out of it because my sister had moved. I think she was in Florida at the time, and he had decided because he had grandchildren now. He had decided that later that year, I think he said within 6 months, he was going to retire, start drawing Social Security, and he was going to move down to Florida to be closer to her. And he was very excited about this, I could tell. We're not exactly sure when he passed away, but it wasn't long after that. We're talking weeks. So that is sort of the character of my dad's life. Like I said, some of it was his doing, but I think a lot of those negative decisions, like I said, were the result of being dealt a shit hand, and I get it. Not saying I would have made the same choices, but I can understand. I can understand the feeling of helplessness and saying, "Ah, fuck it," you know. So now, every time I hear that song, it makes me think of my dad. And I still love the song, but
yeah, but now that it's in your brain already, and it's marked there forever.
Well, and actually, I need to. Oh shit! Where did I put it? I know I still have it because it was hanging on a wall, but I had to move it for a bigger shelf. So part of the reason.
First of all, thank you for opening yourself up like that, man. I'm sorry that you went through that. Of course, you told me that before in privacy, but thank you to opening to our audience like that. I know that people they're been through a lot, and we all go through a lot, but there's a way to keep going. My song recommendation is not a party song.
Well, if I may, so I just want to share a little bit more about that. So one of my most prized possessions, and I'm not going to say it's all the reason that I got into entrepreneurship, but I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I was again influenced. It's a commemorative plaque of a news article when he took over his father's locksmith business, and it's still to this day hanging on my wall. And I found, when I was cleaning out his house, I found his jacket from that locksmithing business. I have that, and I have his National Guard uniform, and another one of his work jackets from the same thing. I still have those. I will occasionally wear the jacket. He was a little bit smaller than me, so it's a tight fit, but it fits. And then also, because he was alone at the end, for most of his life, actually, I keep his ashes in an urn in my living room. And I did that basically to just be like, well, you won't be alone now.
That's beautiful, man. He's not alone. Thank you for sharing all that, man. I know it's hard. But that's what we need to deal with. That's the deck that we're dealing with, and that's part of being human, and that's the part of understanding when we are where we are. So thank you for sharing that thought. So now everyone that listen to that song by Breaking Benjamin, they're gonna remember him. So he's not gonna be alone ever, man. Like I say, my song is not the Macarena, right?
Oh, come on.
It's from the it's from the band Shinedown,
Ooh.
and the name say it all. A symptom of being human. I don't know if you listen to the song. It's powerful. It's Shinedown style, really theatrical in a crescendo matter. I don't know. Look, I'm losing light here, but because we went a little over the time, but just listen to it. Shinedown, a symptom of being human. Do you have a book recommendation or something weird?
I have a weird one, yes.
Okay,
It
got a book
is.
recommendation. Go ahead.
So it's kind of a combo. This is both an anime and manga. I recommend that you check out both, but you want to talk about a downer? Holy shit!
Oh
Um,
shit.
the manga is substantially different from the anime, which is why I recommend you check out both because they're both equally depressing, but in very unique ways. The story is called Elfen Lied. This is another example. This was an anime that was marketed to not necessarily young boys, but it was marketed as like an action gory thing. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of gore. I wouldn't say it's gratuitous though. It's weird how I describe this. And if you've seen Elfen Lied, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's extremely graphic in more ways than one, but it makes sense in the narrative. It has to be this graphic to drive everything home. Um, but much like Saikano, it's not a happy ending. It's actually pretty shitty. I guess there's kind of like a, and that's the anime differs. It gives it a little bit of a happier ending. The manga's a straight up downer. But yeah. So the premise is it's basically a new species, a new mutation of humans called the Diclonus, and the first one is named Lucy, which is a reference to. I don't know if Lucy's still the oldest human skeleton that we have, but at one point the oldest human skeleton we had was named Lucy, so that is why the first Diclonus is named Lucy. She is also the only one that can procreate that they know of. The rest of them are sterile. Because there are other Dicloni, but you can distinguish the Dicloni by four key features that they all share. They all have pink hair. Five features, I'm sorry. They all have pink hair, they all have red eyes, they all have two horns on the top of their head. They're all female, and they all have these things called vectors. And what a vector is, imagine an invisible hand that you cannot see, but it's as much a part of their body as their normal hands are. And they use these vectors with varying degrees of number and range to basically do whatever they want, which includes a lot of dismembering of normal humans in this case. Now,
That
Lucy,
sounds really nice.
it's a real walk in the park. It's a real story. Lucy breaks out of a high security facility, and in the course of doing so, she gets shot in the head and develops amnesia. Now, eventually, Lucy's memories come back, and it's a roller coaster, man. Um, and then you find out certain things about Lucy's past. There's a particularly graphic scene. Um, it's not a spoiler alert per se, but let's just put it this way: if animal abuse doesn't seem like um, you'll see it coming, so you may want to skip it. I encourage you not to because it's hard to watch, and it's a fucking cartoon, and it's still hard to watch. Like it's worth seeing it, but if you don't want to see animal abuse, trust me, you'll see it coming. You'll know what part to skip. Um, but yeah, once again,
Is it,
it's a fucking downer, dude.
dude?
It's
Okay,
worth seeing.
I wanna close with a high note,
Okay,
right?
thank you.
Because at the end of the pad is always like, many years ago, way before this relationship, a special person got me a book, and for a lot of people are like, it was written in 1988, the year that my whole life changed, but I'm not gonna get downer. But it's written by Paulo Coelho. It's called The Alchemist.
Ooh,
Okay, see
that's
it?
yeah.
Now I got something that you're gonna love because I got this to show you. Are you ready? But this is The Alchemist, and actually the person that gave it to me in the first page wrote me, "I know what love is. Do you?" And I've read that for 25 years probably, trying to understand, and I finally know. Uh, so either way, look, I mean, it's an old book. You can feel that it's like bought from in the 80s.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what?
so even
That's kind of like how
can you
like
see? It
yeah.
got marks of the original owner. So the person, it was my birthday, and that person didn't have money, so he gave me his favorite book. Really, really special person. Uh, but this is for you, buddy. I got The Alchemist in Paulo Coelho, the graphic novel.
Oh shit!
Isn't that fantastic? I
That's
saw it and I go like,
awesome.
I need to buy it for Jakey Boy, man.
Oh
I'm gonna
man,
send it
that's
to
sick.
you because I need you to have this because I know you're going through a lot and it's been tough and it's been hard because it's in we have a saying in Latin America. It says when it rains it pours, right?
Yeah, we have that
And
one.
and, and we are humans and it's just keep piling. It's not the last hit that hurts. It's the 19 other rings that they've been pounding us, right? That this one is the one that make us dizzy, but it's not the one that injure us. So I got this, man. Look, I went and find and I use one. Is this is used, so don't get excited. Look,
I love
it's
used
used, but it's
books.
the I know, but this the graphic novel of the alchemist. So the Alchemist, for the people that don't know, I'm just going to give you the review before we go. Paulo Coelho enchanting novel has inspired a devoted following around the world. This story dancing in its powerful simplicity and inspiring wisdom. It's about an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago, who travels from his homeland in Spain to Egyptian desert to search for the treasure buried in the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who called himself king, and the alchemist, all of whom point Santiago in the direction of his quest. No one knows what the treasure is, or if Santiago will be able to surmount the obstacles along the way. But what starts as a journey to find worldly goods, turning to discover the treasure found within. Lush, evocative, and deeply humane, the story of Santiago is an eternal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our hearts. And I want to leave with this high note because even it's been hard and it's again our lives collide with the same circumstances. We're still doing what we love, and it's about the journey, not the goal, brother. So I love our audience. I love you, Jake. Everything gonna be fine, buddy. I'm
No,
gonna
I
send
know.
this to you. And as I always say, whoever that loves us can leave us a comment and shares. And if not, you can go and fuck yourself because I'm Virus Vox. I'm not a down donor. And because I say that, are you ready, my friend? Thank you for this. See you next Tuesday. Roll 'em up.
See you next Tuesday.